And there we are.
We're going to get all these notifications where we went live everywhere.
They all pop up at once.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah. All right, we are live. Welcome to a special edition today of Metalheads Unite. We have Stellan and Tina from the band Hexed from over in Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're late to this party, man. It's like, I reached out and I listened to this album, and then I reached out to them, and then all of a sudden I see them blowing up with we got this interview. This I was like, damn.
I know.
Which is a good thing for you guys. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Well, the new album. I mean, the new album Pagans Rising. It came out at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
So we were listening to it. Jason and I, we were actually on our way out to a show at the east part of Tennessee where we live, and he was telling me, he's like, man, you got to listen, because he knows how much of a power metal fan I am. So he was like, you got to listen to this album that just came out. And so we were listening to it on the way out to this show, because it was like a 4-hour drive from where we live. And I was like, holy shit. And so
the album on repeat for 4 times then.
Yeah.
Just about. Cool. Yeah.
Of course, we went back and, I know we usually, I did. I know Chris usually does too. When we prepare for this, is we go back and listen to everything in the catalog.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes,
I did. Build up for the interview. And I will say this. I think that the new album is definitely more aggressive than the first one.
I think so too.
We aimed for it.
We talked about it before the production started for this one, and the production of the songs. Actually, we talked about it, and we said that we're gonna make some more metal songs.
Yeah.
The first one is actually, we're happy with it, but we wanted to make this album more aggressive, like you said, and more metalish production and everything. So I think we nailed that one. So
and I think it showed Tina's more vocally. It showed her where she could do so much more than just being a one-dimensional singer. So that's really 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 good that he kind of brought her. I think it kind of brought her out into her own, because I think my comparison was it was almost like a mix of Alyssa White Blues with Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil. So it was kind of like a mash of that, and I was just like, man, I don't think I've ever heard anything like this. So that's,
well, I'm happy to hear that you did that.
Yeah, well, and I think as a musician, that's kind of what you want to shoot for. Is you don't want to sound like anybody else. I mean, that's
right.
Unfortunately, there's only so much you can do note wise. So I mean, you got to do it somewhere else.
That's true.
So fortunately, it's not an infinite number of chords on a guitar. So unfortunately,
when we made the music for this album, we also had that in focus to let the voice take over some parts and be more aggressive and more brutal this time, because also of the theme, of course.
Right.
So that came natural and to somehow show the wide
spectrum.
The wide spectrum.
Yeah, and I think Stellan, you were more vocal on this album than the last one, correct? So,
yeah.
So I think that that kind of gives it that extra little bit of spice too. So.
It's like I said, it's a two-way dimension of what we are able to do, and we also talked about that actually, and it's a mixture between the two vocals. Tina obviously is the flying bird here, but I'm the the brutal guy. But anyway, I think the mixture is. It really the content of the songs and the lyrics and everything. I think it adds some layers to it when you have the brutal vocals to Tina's vocals on this album. So,
well, the cool thing for me is with the complementary style, Stellan, that you add to the vocal mix, is that you don't even though you sing the more aggressive vocals, obviously, than Tina does. You don't even sing completely aggressive all the time either. You sprinkle in a couple of clean vocals in there too.
Yeah.
So there's actually that third dimension vocally that's in there too.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
there are other bands who have that same kind of dynamic that you guys do, but it'll usually be one or the other 100% of the time. Like Nightwish kind of comes to mind, in that respect. So, but even though your vocals are more complementary, you still have two layers that you add, considering I don't know if you like sneak it in on purpose, but either way, you'll throw in a clean lyric or two every now and then, and it still adds like that third dimension, which I think is very, very cool for the diversity of the vocals.
Cool, nice to hear that. That was a perspective that we didn't get before. So thank you for that. Yeah, it really means a lot, because we have made the vocals to be like you said, more dimensional. And of course, having the theme in mind, it really adds the feeling to it, the sentence to it as well.
And I notice you refer to the track Blasphemy when I sing like in the third dimension, like you mentioned, but that was actually one track that we struggle a bit with. And we talked about it, and we need to do something extra in this one, not extra like in better, but something else,
something different,
to get that nail, that feel to it, and happy to hear that you notice it, and thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you guys have already mentioned like the theme of the album already more than once. So the theme of the new album, and I was doing a little bit of homework, obviously reading up on it. So you guys went with the 17th century witch hunt. So like expound on that a little bit for everybody as it relates to how you translated that over into the album.
Well, it is focused on the Swedish witch hunts, and there is a few stories that I read about that I was interested in earlier, and so with this music, we easily found that we should write about this. We should lift this as a
topic for the
topic,
album.
And it is also important these days to lift this topic as well, because the witch hunts are still a thing in some parts of the world, at least. But we did some big research about the history.
When she say we, she actually talks about herself. She is so humble. She is amazing doing the research for the album. And the thing is, I'm born up north in Sweden, and if like
100 meters
from our cabin there, our summer cabin. There's actually a witch hunting execution place. So
wow,
everything turned up in Tina's head there, and she's the reason why the topic is the witch hunt in the 17th century. So
we wanted to lift the Swedish historical perspective of it, because I mean it's not a different thing to write about, but I guess most of the written songs about the witch hunts is about the European
overall,
right,
more overall. So we wanted to focus what happened in our Swedish woods at that time.
Yeah, you guys should hook up with Sabaton. As far as writing songs about history. I mean, between the two of you
guys, anytime.
Actually, I have one thing there. We have contact with a few guys around the band.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it turns up in the future.
You never know.
But you have a point there.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this. We're pushing 2 years doing this show, and I can't even count the amount of bands from Scandinavia in general, but from Sweden that we've mentioned on this show. Now that we're talking to you guys, I mean, we got Sabaton and Hammerfall and and parts of Arch Enemies. I mean, there's so much good music that comes out of that part of the world, and I listen to a lot of it. And have you guys had a chance to come over? Because I know you guys were in Norway last weekend, right? You guys were at Orland Fest. You guys, that was last weekend. So have you guys had a chance to come over to North America yet? Have you been over here?
No, not yet, but we're waiting for it and working on it.
We've been over there, but not playing concerts. But
okay, so you have visited. Okay,
okay,
yeah, we have visited.
Number of times, but like Tina said, we're working on it, and the bands you mentioned before, like Arch Enemy and Sabaton and Hammerfall and all that, great examples of hard struggling bands.
Yeah.
Everything depends on how much you struggle, and a bit of luck, and of course you need a great product.
Right.
We would be happy to go over through the States and play some concerts.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Make sure they put Nashville, Tennessee on the date so we can.
We will remember that.
We will push. We will push them.
Yeah,
I
will say that I was going to say you'd be surprised, but you probably wouldn't. But like when you're finally able to make it over here, the amount of metalheads that are over here in the United States is pretty underrated. But a few weeks ago we had a guest on here, and he was from the United States, but he was talking about being able to, as far as like their music and their albums and everything, they were able to kind of keep track of where their audience was. Do you guys have anything like that where you're able to do that?
Yeah, we have.
So you guys are able to, determine, okay, we're big in, we're big in Denmark. We're big in, obviously you guys are big in Sweden, but we're big in Denmark. You guys went to Norway for the festival. So you guys are able to track that. Okay. That's good. So, have you guys been able to determine what kind of audience you have over here?
Yeah, actually, when you're referring to track audience, we have like Spotify, and we have Apple, of course, and Amazon and Deezer and all those. Sorry if you can't have commercials in your podcast, but
no, you're fine.
Oh no, you're totally fine. Yeah, you're totally fine.
Yeah, thanks. But the thing is, the States, Canada, and Germany are huge countries for the band Hexed. Obviously, Sweden, of course.
That's great.
But I think the second biggest country is States.
Yeah.
For us, so we're just not waiting for things to happen.
For some songs, it is also like number one.
Yeah, many tracks. Sweden is second country, and the States are the first.
Wow.
So we are definitely working for making something happen over there. So
yeah, it's good. It's good to have these numbers to look at, because then you know where you should put out all the promotion as well. So it gets more likely to get there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that is one thing that we try to do, is like, especially if we've talked to anybody on this show, is we try to at least go out and support them if they do wind up over here. So please let us know. We'll definitely be in the crowd, I'm sure. So.
Oh, absolutely. And see, that's because the one of the reasons why I asked that question is because, and this may be just a personal perception of mine, with that subgenre that you guys are in, the symphonic power metal is, and like I say, this may be just me, but it almost seems like some of those bands like you guys and some of the other examples that I've used, for some reason and I know this can't be 100% true, but it almost seems like there's not enough of a following over here, and I don't know why that is, because there are plenty of European bands that come over, and they'll go on these big tours of the country. Arch Enemy is one. Actually, Arch Enemy was actually just over here not too long ago, if I remember correctly. But for some reason, so that does make me happy, because for some reason, like I say, I worry. Sometimes I worry that this country isn't supporting that subgenre of metal enough, and I hate that, because I'm a huge fan of it, and I'm turning. It seems like week by week I'm turning Jason onto it more and more. So, not that he never listened to it. I'm not trying to say that, but because like I say, he was the one that was like, you got to listen to Hexed, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm down. So
he knew it had to be good if I was putting it in front of him, because I'm not as big of a symphonic metal fan as he is. So
right,
so it's like, I have a handful of bands that I go to from over there, but I'm more like, I think that's what makes me and him work so well. It's like we're both thrash guys, so we're both, so we both love the thrash, but he's more the symphonic and I'm more of the metalcore. So when you branch off from that, we're kind of like complete everything, because we kind of listen to different stuff when we branch out from the thrash. So
and that's the funny thing about music, because we are not the symphonic power metal fans.
Not 100%.
No, not 100%. No, because we listen to thrash, we listen to progressive
Look
music.
at the fucking T-shirt he is having. The Exodus T-shirt. Amazing live act. Like I don't know, 5 times or something.
Yeah.
It blows me away every time. So
there was actually Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel were actually touring the States during the earlier part of the year, and Jason and I actually got to see him twice. So that was fun. But yeah, you mentioned you guys the other influence you guys have, and like Queensryche and Crimson Glory, so stuff like that. So yeah, you guys definitely have a little bit more of a wider range to choose from. But do you guys ever get to kind of like, have you been able to collaborate with any of like the contemporaries in the same genre, like like I mentioned, like Nightwish, even though they're from Finland, of course, with everything Floor Jansen's got going on right now, I'm sure probably not lately, but or how am I trying to ask this?
Struggle.
Yeah, well, I was trying to ask it. I was trying to ask it a certain way, and I think I lost my train of thought there. But
if you're onto like collaboration with other bands in the same genre, we have on the first album we have a collaboration with Thomas from
Wikström from Therion.
Okay. And it's almost they are more gothic opera style, but he's a real nice guy and a huge vocalist. So but we have talked about this with collaboration, and it's a great way to in some sort gain new fans in some genre. But like both you guys are into other stuff. Yeah, we have a Kill Switch Engage, and you have an Exodus T-shirt, and we love Queensryche, the old style Queensryche and Crimson Glory. And I'm an old prog nerd, and I love a wide genre of things. So I would easily do like a collaboration with some guy or girl, for that matter, in any type of band that I really into. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this orchestral stuff, or I would love to make it like Tom Wyoming or whatever. I would love it. So I'm up for everything, actually. So yeah.
Okay, so you guys are the first band that we've been able to talk to that plays the style of music that you play, and with the amount of bands that I've listened to, I've always wanted to ask this. So I'm happy that I get to ask this of you guys. where did the because you guys are married and you founded the band.
Yeah.
Where did the decision to kind of play this style of music come from? Was it from other projects that you were in before you came together in this band? Because I've always wondered where the symphonic orchestral part kind of meets together with the heavy metal part. Like where was that decision made to go with that sound?
All right. I'll try to answer that. We are both old musicians and have played in several earlier bands, but not together at any time. We made some different music together at home, that was never released at all. But at some point, about 2015, we made the decision to it was like this. Stella had written a couple of songs with a friend, and and we are very much into same type of music. So when I heard that, I just felt that why don't you write these songs for me?
She was yeah.
I want to sing this. Basically. So,
Give him a song.
yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah, give him a song.
So we started to collaborate, and we after that we made a couple of songs. I think we decided to write a bunch of songs, and well.
Yeah, it actually started like a project thing.
Yeah.
I had my things.
We didn't start a band.
No. We didn't start a band like
wrote
that first day. But Tina had the other band, and I had the other band, and started playing around with some tracks, and noticed that we should do something together, and that was the beginning of Hexed. So
Okay.
And the main question about the symphonic thing, it wasn't primarily a target to hitting that symphonic thing at first.
Okay.
It ended up during the process
yeah,
doing the song. So.
Okay. Well, obviously her voice, Tina, your voice fits in with it perfectly. So I think it was a good decision, to head that way. When you guys started Hexed, like you say, it wasn't a target at first. When you guys brought in the other members of the band, did the talents that they bring kind of lend to that, or was it just kind of a sound that came together organically and you guys just decided to just run with it?
I think it is a mixture of both. Actually,
okay.
We have a huge amount of talented musicians all around us, and both in our town, Uppsala, Sweden, and in the middle of Sweden, we have like point in one direction and you find a great.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You just gotta.
Swedes, we have a long winter, so you have time to practice on your instrument. So but we had a couple of names early in the process in our back of the head, in the back of our heads, and during the process, creating the songs and the brand Hexed that grew from there.
So looking at the profile, Daniel has been in the band from the beginning, correct? The bass player.
Yeah, that's correct.
When did Patrick and David come along?
In the middle of the pandemic situation, we had the two other members with us for a long time, and we gig together a lot and toured together with the previous ones. Okay. But in the pandemic situation, we lost them, unfortunately, and it wasn't about the band or something, just life, life and work situations that didn't fit together. So in the process, when we wrote the new material, we we joined forces with Patrick. David was in the process as well.
Yeah.
But Patrick is the newest kid in town, so to speak.
Okay.
So I always ask this question on here because I think people get misconstrued about a musician's life. But are you guys in a situation to where Hexed is like your main thing as far as income, or are you still having to work along with that?
Yeah, all of us.
This is a question I want to lie. Okay.
Well, yeah, right.
Is it okay? No, actually, we all 5 members in the band have the mainly income from other things.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the things that we always like. I think a lot of people just look at these bands and think, "Oh, this must be an extravagant lifestyle. This is all they do." And I always like. It was one of the things that when we did this, we wanted to make it as real as possible to, especially the expectations from somebody trying to get into music, saying, "Hey, this doesn't mean you get to drop your 9 to 5 right away." I mean, you guys are 2 albums. Yeah, you guys are 2 albums in. Devil was 2 albums in. They are all still working. So I mean, it's like it takes. I think it takes a little bit of work to get to where this is it. And I think you guys are on a good track. I don't think you're probably going to have to worry about it too long. But it's like
right now it's like about 200% of work because the mainly job 100%, and then you can come home and you just keep up the work with Hexed. So.
It's like working 2 full-time jobs. Yeah,
right.
It is.
And the best part of the 2 things, two jobs we have, when you check out from your original work, so to speak, you always have the opportunity to talk to like Metalheads Unite. This is the great part of your working day.
Right. Yeah.
But the funny thing I have to mention we talked about Sabaton a little earlier. I know how much they put in, like in both money and hours
and work.
For getting somewhere. And now they have like 3 huge companies, and they are far up on the billboards all the time. So it takes a lot of effort, but for every guy and girl out there trying to make something of the music industry, it's hard work and believing what you do. So keep up.
I mean, I always figure you're headed in the right direction when Children of Bottom name an album after your band name. I mean, that's always a good thing, right?
Yeah, no, I told Sal that the next album should be called The Children of Bodom.
Hey, we don't know if that's where it came from, but that's what we're going to go with. So,
just or at least you could do like a cover of Are You Dead Yet or something like that.
That would actually be good.
I know.
So
this is live brainstorming.
It's
right.
Great.
That's what when we talked about doing this show. That's one thing that we talked about is like. Should we pre-record it or whatever? And I said, no, I don't want anything pre-recorded. I like my show to be genuine and whatever happens. I mean, you can be at a live show and screw up and you don't get to go back and rewind and do over. So I mean, it's kind of like that's the way I want it to feel, because I feel like you guys, you're used to live shows. You don't get to go back and do that. And plus, I don't want to have to be that person to have to go out and say, "Oh, you only get 2 hours," so I have to go in and cut this down. I don't want to be the person to decide what content to cut out. So I'm just like, no, we're not doing that. We're going live, and
we appreciate that. Yeah.
Usually, I am the fuck up. I usually always do.
Yeah, he does.
My English is like, whoo, all
over. Well, I know your guys' English is fine. I mean, like Jason said earlier in the band, we've talked to you guys are the second band from Sweden we've spoken with. We've spoken to Germany, we've spoken to Scotland, and we're not to I'm not gonna I was just gonna spoil something, but I'm not gonna spoil it. We have another band from another country who's coming on the show. We'll talk more about that here in a little while. So I mean, So really the only.
But you could tell they're from Australia. I mean, they ain't got to know that. They ain't got to know the name of the band.
That's
but,
true.
you know.
All right, that's true. That is true. And then
we haven't been. That's going to be the show we have to keep my wife out of here because she'll be
mine too.
All over the accents. So
yeah, yeah, mine too. Probably.
Like you don't listen to this show. Any other show's fine. But
I was also curious about the other Swedish band, which was the
other Swedish band.
Yeah.
Huh?
The other Swedish band.
The other band that we talked to from Sweden was the Defaced.
Cool.
Yep, we got to talk to Jens and Matthias. I think that was April, somewhere around there.
It was somewhere in the spring. Yeah, so
it was somewhere around April. So we talked to them right around the time that the Charlatans came out. Not too long after their new album came out, they were gracious enough to come on, and we got to interrupt their dinner too. So
Perfect.
If you're making if you're doing podcasts or interviews with Swedish bands, you should make them like in April, May or something. If you make them this time of year, we have like 6-7 months of strong cold winter, and we are like pissed off. So that's
the best time to start recording, right there.
It is. It is.
It's like a rebirth or something.
Well, that's part of the reason why Sweden puts out so many goddamn good hockey players too. So
I know.
There's actually 2 players on the Detroit Red Wings who's, I'm originally from Michigan, so they've always been my favorite hockey team. So there's a couple guys on the team from Uppsala right now. So yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
I should know this.
He's a huge hockey fan.
I'm a huge hockey fan, but I had to admit I have been lazy the couple of years or something. I should have. Which guys in Detroit?
Well, we went out and we signed Robert Hagg as a free agent this offseason, and then we drafted Jonathan Berggren.
Okay.
And then we had Marcus Hellberg, the goaltender, on our team, but he's actually playing over in the KHL right now. So.
We were in Florida and saw the Red Wings against the Panthers.
Yeah.
When they had like 8 players or something from Sweden.
Yeah.
Oregon. The funny thing is we have Hag and Berggren aren't the only Swedish players we have. We've got Elmer Soderblom, who played in Frölunda. We've got Simon Edvinsson, was our top draft pick from last year. He's in Grand Rapids right now. And the funny thing is, like you talked about, I promise Jason, this won't stay talking about hockey forever. But you talk about that time where Detroit had that many Swedish players. The nickname for that group of guys, and it still exists to this day, was the Swedish Mafia. So that was the nickname for all those guys.
Actually, they won the cup that year, and it was
must have been 2008.
It was.
That was the last. Yeah, that was the last time Detroit won the cup. So I'm sure. So then But I mean, we had Nicholas Lidstrom on the team. We had Thomas Olsson on the team, and Nicholas Kronwall on the team. So I mean, we were pretty stacked. So
we have to make like a anthem for Hexed.
Yeah.
Like in the States, it's the game day. They used to say, "You've been Kronwald."
They would every time he would lay somebody out. I know. Yeah.
You've been fucking hexed.
Hey, I'm down.
Cool to hear that you're a huge hockey fan. We are hockey fans.
Massive hockey fan. Yeah.
Cool. So Chris, how do you remember all those names and you can't even remember the line of questioning?
Well, that actually is true. That's actually a great question. I just forgot I forgot how
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. So.
No, I know.
Yeah. And I can't say much. I can't say much about you.
That's actually a good question.
You bring up hockey one time out of the 8 times I bring up wrestling, so I'm not going to complain
true.
at all. So.
That is true. That is true. All right, let's see.
Every question from here on, Jason takes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was a pro wrestler for like 18 years, so I kind of
cool.
I kind of like bring that into play sometimes because I can kind of relate to some of the things that goes on musically as far as what a lot of us had to deal with, with travel and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a branch off where I can kind of give some kind of understanding to, So
yeah, cool.
So we have a comment here in the chat. I don't know if you guys can see it or not on your end, but we have Tor Elnon in the chat. He says, just a comment. The more I listen to Pagans Rising, the better the album gets. The vocals at the start of the title track are absolutely fantastic. And so it continues. I recommend everyone to really listen to this record. And yeah, Jason and I can both absolutely echo that sentiment. So
Thank you, Tor.
So Tor, we appreciate that very much. So
thank you, Tor.
Yeah. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to give a shout out to our friend Victor, who's in the chat today too. He did Victor is Victor is our friend from Rockin' Heavy. He is he's our Latin American representative right now.
Cool.
So he said that Arch Enemy was in Atlanta in March. They were with Behemoth, Napalm Death, and Unto Others.
Yeah.
So that was the tour that they were on. So
they are here right now with Behemoth.
Yep. So that tour has basically hopped over back onto your guys' side of the Atlantic Ocean over there. So
exactly.
So I know you guys are fresh off of this, and I just wanted to ask about the Orland Fest. How did that go? Was it?
It was a great festival, 2 days festival with great bands and great staff, and the audience was just magic. So we are so happy to have finished that one.
Yeah.
Norway is a fantastic country as well. So we just want to go back.
Blast.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Perfect scenery outside the window and the crowded venue was amazing. Great.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the scenery. My wife and I have every time we see a picture of Scandinavia, we're like, we need to go. I want to go. I want to go to Scandinavia. I want to go to Scandinavia so bad. I don't even care what country it is. I want to do all four. I want to just do a clean sweep. I want to do the whole thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Come over to Sweden and we go watch hockey one day and we break a concert one day and then you go home happy guy.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Bring Jason.
Jesus,
all night. So.
I don't like that. I can watch hockey live. I'm just not a big fan of watching it on TV. So it's kind of like so I don't follow it as much as I do.
But we also have a friend that are wrestling fans, so you can get to meet
him. But have you guys been to Scandinavia in some way?
No, I've never left North America. Like I've been to Mexico here in North America, but I've not left North America. So
okay, you're more than welcome, guys.
But
I've got a big country, so
we
are a small country.
Yeah. But still,
I've
wanted to go there for a long time.
My background is Irish from my dad's side, so that's one of the things that we've always put on our list to go to Ireland. So hopefully, maybe in the next couple of years we can get that worked out. But the main thing with us is like me and my wife, we spend more time using our vacation to go to festivals, music festivals, and we don't have no vacation time to do vacation things. So she kind of got on to me about that last year. She was like, "Hey, look, we got to take a vacation, not to a concert." I said, "Okay." So and they win, so it's just an argument about it. You just say
I can relate to that.
Go to Ireland and pop up to Sweden at Sweden Rock Festival.
It should
be
there you go.
That'd be a great idea.
We're working on our 23rd anniversary, so we've been doing this for a while. So
cool.
Big numbers coming up.
Yeah. So we're not the traditional married couple. So we got married on the 26th of February. In 2000. So I told her, I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we go? She wants to renew our wedding vows. And I said, why don't we do this on the 26th of February in 2026, we'll be married 26 years. So it's all 26s. So why don't we just do it then? And she's like, yeah, that'll work. So that's our plan to go probably and renew our wedding vows somewhere. So
Cool.
All right, let's do.
so we don't like sticking with tradition too much. So.
Right. So speaking of marriages, were you guys how did you guys end up coming together? Because you were both in other bands before Hexed. So obviously Hexed was formed while you guys were married.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys married before Hexed came about? And I mean, how did being in two different bands at the, like how did all that basically, end up with Hex being created? I promise I'll get that's two now. That's two.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Before Tina answers that question, I have to say, girls always win. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I
yeah, they do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you ended up writing songs for her, so
Yeah. From the start, Stellan was my brother's mate, so they used to sit at home and play some Nintendo.
No, we only play Carcass covers.
Yeah. We also had the music together, so.
Yeah.
But at some point I just fell in love with Stellan, and we were a couple, and we had been a couple for many years before we started the band. But the thing that we had before Hexed was just we had our different bands, and they played very. It was not metal. I was in a more of a hard rock band.
okay.
Hard rock band.
Yeah, party metal.
Melodic party metal or something. Yeah.
We were called Detained, and we made an EP, and you were together in a band with your mate that you started to do the Hexed songs with.
Yeah.
And
basically, she stalked me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't get away.
Well, at least you have a good reason for Leah. Like, hey, man, my wife says so. I mean, I'll have to live with her, not you. So sorry, guys, I'm out.
Like, okay, I understand.
So you guys just got, like I said, we've referenced the Orland Fest a couple of times. What's coming up in the near future for you guys as far as on the road here?
We have actually it never nothing is like 100%, but we have mainly a great deal of things happening outside of Sweden. The thing is, it seems anyway for us to get. It's easier to get like gigs and concerts booked outside of Sweden. I don't know why, but
right now
it seems like it's the whole region of Sweden is like on hold or something. I don't know, but every new event or festival had really struggles with keeping up the audience coming to it, and pre-sales
are
like
low.
So
So are there still any like COVID boundaries still going on there? Or?
No, I think it's like a post-COVID mentality. Actually,
Gotcha.
we don't have a struggle with COVID now, but every venue and town seems like they are post-COVID.
Post-COVID, and then also the world economics. I think people are carefully choosing the events they go to.
Yeah.
So I guess they are not really chancing to get to a small venue or something. They just reach for the big acts that they know are something to see. So I guess the pre-sales are doing a hard time for the small venues nowadays.
Yeah.
So we have to be patient and just wait for it to release something.
Well, we have couple of festivals in Greece, in Germany, in Holland, and the festival things in Scandinavia also, but nothing is like pen on paper and contract.
Right.
And obviously we have a lot of gigs on in the planning in Sweden also.
Of course.
But the pen on the paper is I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah,
we noticed this in the spring when COVID let the grip go from Scandinavia and the world overall. All the pre-sales that were out there when the pandemic hit the world, everybody was like grabbing on to the old tickets and didn't buy tickets to new events. But that's history now. So I hope this will turn out to a better future in the spring. I don't know.
I know like a lot of bands from the States have been talking about logistical issues when they try to go to European countries right now. So I'm not sure, like, they could be kind of what you're talking about with the kind of the tail end of everybody just kind of like trying to get back to their normal, normal way of life. So, and then too, a lot of these companies have went under because of being, not being able to do anything for like 2 years. It's kind of like, you can't stay afloat. So, so I'm sure that has a lot to do with it too. But I was actually going to ask that question to see if there was anything that you see over there as far as logistic wise that could be a barrier too. So.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You totally got a point. And you noticed when you see the touring bands, we actually have a tour also on planning during the spring, and nothing is certain yet. But you noticed when you see tour plans get like chopped up and making two gigs are canceled due to several reasons.
We've seen that a lot for
and
bands here.
They are all, not always, but in many cases, many cases they are canceled due to the reasons you're referring to. Because of the logistic for that country or that kind of stuff. So it's hard to get a tour to just in the normal mode these days. So
it was just crazy to me to see bands as big as like Anthrax and Shinedown having to cancel shows over there. And then I just seen like where Chris Jericho from and his band Fozzy was just performing over there. So I'm just kind of like, wow, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But okay, but maybe Jericho has a lot of logistical ties from wrestling that he can bounce off.
Yeah,
of or
he
something.
might. He might.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I can think of because I'm just like, wow, you got bands as big as Anthrax not being able to logistically get to the European countries kind of unheard of. It's
it's like that things are on hold for some reason, Yeah.
But if bands in that caliber,
it's
want to get it going. How the fuck should a minor band? I mean, it's oh my god, it's hard.
We just keep trying. So
Well, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
So speaking of the road, we've asked this of every one of our guests. We want road stories. We know that there've gotta be some, especially like I say when you've got gentlemen in the band who like Daniel here, who says his other interests are women, beers, and video games. So,
when you mentioned the question, I just started to think about Daniel. I don't know.
But I can answer this question. But Tina, you have to leave the room for 5 minutes.
I'm all ears.
Upstairs in the tour bus. There's the magic. There's the magic.
Well, I was there, No, but you have to tell them about the ferry.
No, I don't. Oh, okay.
Oh, if he's saying no,
Okay,
then yeah, that's
I will
definitely.
get some wine. So
Okay,
he,
okay.
And then she went plumb off the screen laughing, so that's kind of that's a good indicator. It's going to be pretty wild. So,
On the last tour, we were between, was it London and France and England? Great Britain and France. And obviously, we're not non-alcoholic guys, but we're not alcoholics. But sometimes,
cheers.
cheers. But anyway, sometimes little too much for
some,
no name
no
mentions.
Names.
No. But
what does it rhyme with?
When in England there, you had to show your passport and everything, and they check the bus and count people and everything.
Yeah.
And I was actually not drunk at that moment.
And we were asleep, most of us.
Yeah, but I was feeling like a fucking kindergarten teacher or something. I had
I was that one.
I had one guy wanted to puke, and the bus hadn't stopped, and I said, if you do it, I will
kill you.
I will fucking peep you. Anyway, he managed to hold, and we got him like a trash can or something.
Yeah.
And two of the guys was half naked, rumbling out from the bus,
rumbling out to the ferry,
and was going to one control guy there. He was like, Jason, you know the wrestling guys, like 50 feet tall or something, and muscle guy. And I said to that person, that name I want to tell you, but anyway, no, go left. Don't go to that guy. He's going to strangle you.
Yeah.
You come here like naked, half naked, and go into pass control. No. So we managed to take it all the way through, but it was a close call. I can tell you that. They looked at us in very strange
ways,
faces. Yeah. But we managed to get from one country to another with no hassle. No hassle, but major hassle anyway. So you have
well, we have a bunch of stories.
Yeah,
we can tell you some of it later.
We'll make a private chat afterwards.
Hey, we're good with that too. So we love hearing road stories. So
we do.
If you don't want to share, you don't want us to share them, that's fine. We will not. But because we just like to have something that when we get together around a fire, we have something to talk about and laugh about. So
yeah.
But the thing is with touring, you're living in small spaces. Tour bus is a huge thing, but you're living in close to the band, and ups and downs. Everything comes in the light, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you grow together
definitely,
like a band. It's a great way to get on the road and really connect to everybody in the band. So I really highly recommend it.
Probably a bunch of weird sounds and smells. I was like, what the hell is that? It's like, what is that?
Tina, the only girl in the company. Yeah. She can talk.
I guess we were 18 guys on that bus.
Three bands.
Yeah, three bands. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
The festival is only 2-day nightmare. This was longer.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you could have just drove your bus through the Ukraine and just killed that war altogether.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Let's open the doors.
Just open the doors and everybody just like, all right, we're done. Surrender. That's great. But we've actually created some inside jokes from some stories on here. And so, one is the one, if we ever meet Matt Heafy from Trivium, we're going to tell him that we know a guy named Kevin. So, that's like an inside joke from the band Devil. They were like so excited to meet Matt Heafy they were on tour with and happened to be on the same tour with those guys, and they said they went to this trailer or whatever, and Matt jumps out and goes, "Oh, what's up, Kevin?" And like they did. I was like, "How the hell do you know Kevin?" So like we go around telling them the joke all the time. It's like, yeah, we know Kevin. So I said they got. So they were telling them all the time. So yeah, we couldn't get in this place. We told them we knew Kevin. They let us on in. So
right.
One strange thing I have to mention actually is kind of bizarre.
I don't know what you're thinking.
You know what I think. There was one guy not on tour, but in average world, so to speak. We got a mail through our mailbox, the Hexed mailbox, and there was a guy. He wanted to buy a T-shirt, and I was okay, sure, buy a T-shirt in a merch shop, but no, he wanted a used T-shirt. Yeah. Okay, and he wanted a used T-shirt from Tina, and you get the head start spinning, and okay. I don't know how it ended, but it's a
he got the T-shirt.
He got the used T-shirt, but I was all the time I was thinking, is it only the T-shirt? Is it gonna come and pop up a second question here or something? Really strange. But
Stellan was like, he got the T-shirt. Unfortunately, I choked him with it, but
almost like that.
Yeah, he got it hand delivered. Yeah,
and I could kind of get that because my wife was my manager for a short time in wrestling, so I had to deal with a lot of that too. So he's all like, "No, I just want pictures with her." I'm just like, "It didn't work that way, buddy." So but no, I wasn't that mean to him. But yeah, there was a few times where I'm just like, "Oh yeah, whoa, that's a little too far there, buddy." So so sometimes you gotta like to let a fan know that when they kind of step across the line. So, like that Dave Chappelle said, habitual line steppers. So one thing I always ask too is like, so who designed the logo for Hexed?
Yeah.
Who designed the logo for Hexed?
Stellan did. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's
both
pretty cool.
the logo and the symbol actually.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
The symbol come from the hexagram.
Yeah, it's a hexagram with an H inside. So really basic stuff. But we're really happy with it. We noticed on the flyers we noticed that the logo pops.
Yeah,
it does. It really does. Yeah.
So I think we nail it actually. So,
and I think that was like one of the things. Reason I was asking because I thought one of your David was actually the guy that was her the other interests were arts and photography. So I was like, oh well maybe he has something to do with it. Okay. All right. Well, I guess he wasn't with you guys the whole time either. So
no, he ended up later in the band. So But I have to ask you guys, Jason, like made the tips about Hexed. Have you like decided on some favorite tracks on the album or some standouts?
So like with the new album, the main thing that stood out to me was like the very beginning. It's like it didn't you didn't get anything musically. It was just like Tina going, and it was just like kind of in your face from the get go. And I was just like, man, as soon as that hit, I'm just like, I will not lie. As soon as that hit, I was like, I think I'm gonna like this.
I was actually aiming for the face.
Well, that's where you should always aim for.
Right.
Thank you.
You can't knock a guy out kicking him in the leg. So
no, you can't.
The thing is actually, if you're gonna make an impact or like if you're a fisherman, you throw out the lure and you reel some in to your music, you have like a few seconds.
Today
you both are like metalheads, and if you listen to new stuff, you give it like a huge amount of time. The average people doesn't.
It's like 10 seconds or something.
10-15 seconds tops. And then oh no, it's power metal, I don't like it. Oh, it's thrash metal, I don't like it. It's blah 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 blah, and so on. And we actually talked, and it's highly on purpose that track is
Ended
the
up as
leading
the
track.
first, yeah.
It's the
Right.
leading track on the album, and it's the first track on
Yeah.
the album,
Mhm.
and it's in that
Mm.
way.
It gives a lot difference from a band coming out and giving you like a 40-minute, kind of solo or intro building into
Yeah.
an album,
Exactly.
which that works sometimes. But that's one of my pet peeves is if you're just playing like an instrument and like bleeding into something. That's like, I guess there's no way. I guess there's no way to not track it as a individual track. But I always had a problem with them. I said, why can't they just like say, okay, well, this is like the 30-minute, 30-second lead in,
Intro,
and then slash it and then say, and have it all in like one track. But for some reason, I guess you can't do those things anymore like you used to. But I guess that's like the time I grew up in was kind of like one of the things that kind of like, oh man, I just don't like the, like Machine Head. I love Machine Head, but they just had their new album and it had like 3 little intros throughout the whole thing, or preludes. I'm just like, come on, guys. I mean, you're better than this, but
the thing is, you're already into Machine Head, so you're struggling and find out. But if you're finding out about Machine Head, oh, that's not for me because of the
right.
style. So but if you're into the band, it's no problem. And the thing we wanted to do with this record was that Tina is a amazing vocalist. Everybody knows that, both in the band and we wanted the world to know that. We wanted to have like not the main meal, but how do you say dessert right on the spot.
Yeah.
So people get curious and listen further on the record. So that was the intention.
And it was like I said earlier, you could tell the progression from the first album to the new album with her vocals too. Her vocals too. So the stylings have like definitely grown.
Really happy to hear you say that.
And expanded. Because like I said, I think it expanded too. So that's always a good thing to expand it. So.
But we talked about the symphonic genre in general, and I have personally a problem with the opera style and like
some parts it could be good, but just
softness, always the softness and singing. For me, it's cool to make like 1 or 2 tracks on an album, but if you have like 10 tracks and every song and every track is a copy paste of the first one, I have a huge problem with that.
Yeah, you get bored, so that's why you want to do something different.
And I'm most certain that many of these great vocalists, they are great anyway, but they have a wider genre in themselves, but they like in a box.
Right.
And we wanted, and I'm very glad that you mentioned that, Jason, that Tina's voice on this album compared to the first is more dynamical. She's fucking brutal in some tracks, and vain in some tracks. So
I'm going back to my start where I started because I started with well
this is cool.
I was like 12 years old. It's a bunch of years ago, but I was in a band and we the tracks we recorded was both trash and doom and everything,
more doomish.
But we had like 1
or
2 tracks. But I know when I was trying out for the band, I was like 12 years old in front of my mirror, and I have to sound cool, so
I have to sound like
So that's where I started, and during the years I've gone softer and softer, and with this record I've going back to the roots more to speak.
Okay.
I think Tina was the first girl growled in the whole fucking world.
Yeah, but no one knew.
No one knew. She's the arch enemy or something. She was 12 years old, and she was so pissed off at the
Yeah,
world, and
yeah.
she wanted to sound like a guy.
Yeah,
And this is
definitely.
these recordings are like collector's item here in Sweden for the closest area
Yeah, it is,
where we
yeah.
live.
Mm.
So really cool,
Mm.
really cool stuff. She
That-
sounded like a
that-
brutal.
That I think might be part of the reason, one of the reasons why I like the melodic symphonic part of that genre too, is that it proves, because we talk here on the show a lot about, you know, the amount of bands that are out there that rely on the guttural, the growling vocals, and that's fine. We have no problem with that. But what I like about, you know, the genre that you guys are in is that it shows that you don't have to rely on that to make a quality song, to get your point across, whatever the point is, you know, this band talking about the witch hunts and whatever. So whatever the theme is, you know, even if it's like something that's good, something that's bad, something that's historical, whatever you're trying to talk about, the fact that heavy metal doesn't have to sound so grating all the time, but at the same time, Stellan, with the dimension that you add to Tina's vocal style, it still creates something coherent, cohesive, and beautiful. So it can still get the point across. You can still sing clean and be angry. So that's one of the things I think that I enjoy so much about the genre that you guys are in. Of course, you know, we're all in the main genre, but when you start branching out a little bit, you know, into the symphonic stuff. So that's what I think I kind of like about it, because, you know, we've talked about Arch Enemy a couple of times, you know, when Angela stepped aside to manage the band, and now that Alyssa is in there, Michael, I think, has slowly started to allow Alyssa to kind of bring her melodic side to it.
I think actually spot on.
So, you know, because she was doing that with the Agonist. But then when she got hired for Arch Enemy, they had stuck with the same formula that Angela was singing, and even Johan before Angela. So they had the same vocal style all the way up through their career. And then when Angela stepped down and Alyssa came in, Michael had to have known what she brought to the table, or he wouldn't have hired her to replace Angela. So, and Jason, I know you'll remember this, that we both read a story not too long ago talking about how Michael isn't actually a fan of clean vocals. He even said that in a story that we covered here on the show recently. But he said that he doesn't like clean vocals for clean vocals' sake. He said they have to add an organic feel to the song. So I think slowly but surely he knows what Alyssa has brought to the table. He's kind of allowing that to kind of, you know, to kind of weave into the sound. But at the same time, he's realizing that it's still my sound. It's still the way I want it to sound. But she has a dynamic that she's bringing into it that we haven't had before. And and Jason even mentioned this earlier in the show, talking about the evolution of your guys' two albums, and I agree with him too, that, and of course you basically already confirmed what he said, but I agree with, but I agreed with it when he said it, that there was an evolution from the first album to the second album, to where the first album, you guys, it seemed like you were going for more of, you know, on Netherworld, it sounded like you guys were going for basically a more balanced symphonic metal sound. And then when Pagans Rising came out, like you say, you were focused on more of the brutality, more of the metal aspect of it, and more of Tina's high end range. So there was you know, of course, you know, we're now all three of us are in agreement with what you guys were going for, and the way that Jason and I both heard it. So there's a progression you guys are going through, and an evolution, and you could definitely hear when Tina was singing that she was, and we said this, and Jason and I both said this about the new Megadeth album. It was like Tina was let out of a box a little bit. It's like, okay, go, just go, and let's just see where this goes. And she just let fly, and then what came out at the end was the Pagans Rising album, and it sounds fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if we haven't brushed your ego enough yet, Tina, I will say this: like before I went into Blind, I didn't know who Hexed was until I reviewed the album and I listened to it a couple times and I just thought to myself at one point, before I ever even seen pictures of you guys or anything, and I just thought to myself at one point, so I can imagine this is what the metal side of heaven sounds like when I get there. It's kind of
wow!
It was just like I could really imagine it, going in, and this is like the bring in to the metal side of heaven. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, there'll be a big ass screen with Stigma Diaboli playing.
Thank you so much.
A question for you guys: what do you think was the last track we made for the album?
What was the last track? Okay.
Yeah, which one?
Picked for the album.
Moorfield. You talking about the Moorfield?
No, Stigma Diaboli.
Oh,
was it Stigma Diaboli?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't a contest between that track and other tracks, but that was actually the last track I did, and it doubled every other track in the garbage can. We knew that this is like not a hit song, but we knew we wanted.
If it hits, it's this one.
Yeah, we wanted a track not to stand out like a flag for this is Hexed.
No.
Hexed sounds like this, but we wanted like a anthem song, and we picked Stigma for the album.
Okay.
Well, I definitely. You definitely obviously, we enjoy the album, in its entirety from front to back. But if you're sitting there having to make choices, I think when, for me, because you asked the question earlier, what our favorite track was, and between Stigma Diaboli, Blasphemy, and Resurrection, I think I would have had to have picked from one of those three. So Stigma Diaboli was obviously in there. So. Yeah. I definitely don't think you picked a bad one at all.
No,
so now you're relieved that there is some hidden tracks also.
There's we have leftovers. We have leftovers. Like doing like Steve Weiss flexible or something. It was Hexable. No.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I was going to say, honestly, now you got me wanting to hear the other three, so that you threw away. So
but actually, we noticed that in Norway now that Stigma is a fantastic live track. It's easy to adapt it, and it's easy to sing along with it, and easy to a wide range of dynamics in that, because I'm into more, like we mentioned before, the trash. I want it to be like the verses should be like, but the Stigma is like more dynamic and a lot of space around it. We noticed that the Norwegian audience really dig that one and sing along with it.
Well, I think the good thing about like what you just said is you had tracks that didn't make the album, is that at some point you do that enough, and then you have enough to be like, okay, well, let's just do like this kind of B track thing where none say, hey, none of these tracks made the album, and then sell an album that way. And then, you really doesn't, it gives you something else to put out. It's not really new to you, but it's new to the fans because they didn't, they never heard it. Even though you guys know, it just didn't fit for this, but and honestly, I buy collector stuff a lot. So I'm a big collector when it comes to collectibles. Not just in music either. I grew, I kind of buy stuff from my childhood that kind of looped around. So it's
cool to. This product has been pressed on vinyl as well, and we have 200 of the gold vinyls.
No, not
now. Not now.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just
limited edition.
Editions, and where we also added an extra booklet with the small stories containing the small stories around the songs.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
each story has
each story.
Each track.
Each track has its own story from the witch hunts. So we wrote about some actual cases that we dramatized and
a bit
to
it's only
be
one
more
track actually. It's the Pagans
Pagans
Rising.
Rising.
Yeah, because the evil witch is coming back and she will
she
totally
seeks for
hunt the
revenge.
fucking fuckers down. But this is actually a cool thing because the pandemic made us have longer time to make a record. We talked about this with the small stories.
Exactly, that one.
That one. We talked about this with the small stories of each track. But this is actually genuine cases. These things have happened, and the names named in the tracks and the dates and years and everything.
They are real.
They're real.
Yeah,
they exist. They had exist. But that's the exclusive thing for the vinyl for dig deeper in the lyrics and the happenings around them. So
and now I'm upset that I can't get my hands on something like that.
But we talked about the arch enemy. I'm not going to talk about them more than that. One thing I noticed when we talked about them, last thing you mentioned about them, he got a wider piano to work with, and the thing is with Hexed as a band also, the foundation is the melodic style. Everything grounds from the melodic.
Exactly.
And if you make something from melodic and you want to to make something in an angry vibe and still got the melodic in the bottom, something cool happens. You make softer things with melodic, and you make your angrier stuff with melodic, but you always use the melodic like the foundation. You always get great stuff happen. So
that is actually one of the things that we wanted to keep, because we really grow the fan base quite early in from the Netherworld record.
Yeah, there's a lot of melodic there also.
Exactly. The melodic guitars along with my vocals had some kind of sound that we wanted to keep for this one, for Pagans Rising, but just added some more aggressive and heaviness.
It's actually funny that you talk about the piano for the melodic part, because I mean, you know, all instruments kind of have their own emotion to it, but I mean, they even they even use piano obviously in the movies to convey emotion too. So the fact that you know you have it included in the song as like you said, one of the melodic foundations that everything feeds off of, it only makes sense, you know. And then if anyone, I don't know if you guys can see this, I went ahead and I put, and Jason and I have talked about album covers and heavy metal and everything before. I've got the for those of you guys who don't know, who are watching this right now, I've got the album cover for the new album right here up on the screen. So who is this? Is that one of the witches from, or is it?
Yeah, this is the pagan witch number 1.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
like
so to speak. Yeah.
Okay.
All these short stories that we have in the second booklet, and the lyrics is everything cooks down to one person or pagan, like coming back and resurrect everything and huge payback thing.
This is a red dress.
Yeah.
So when I see this now, I picture at some point a live, you performing this song live, and then this witch comes out, and then Tina slays it at the end or something. And,
of course.
I think that'd be great. So
So, but whose head? Will no, sorry.
That's Daniel's head from the tour bus.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Oh wow.
We have to make a shout out for the cover artist, Giannis
Giannis
Nakos.
Nakos. He's a Greek artist, and he is the most amazing artwork artist that we have worked with. He totally got the vibe from the start and just followed our storyline that we have, and he did he was just
spot on from the beginning. It was like a two day.
I'm amazed. I'm still amazed.
It was like a two day process actually.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, for this cover.
For this cover,
yeah.
We talked
that's amazing.
about the concept for the album, and he got lyrics and he got some sound samples and everything, and he was okay. I'm on it. And 2 days later, we got a draft and was what the what? Okay.
Yeah.
The next picture and everything. It was like, and Tina has had the closest contact with him, and the collaboration between Tina and Janos was amazing.
Yeah.
Tina has done every tracks, lyrics for the tracks.
Yeah.
So, but one thing about Janis was that we got our eyes on his work early between these albums. Because our friends in Evergrey had a collaboration with him
Okay.
for many years, and we noticed he hasn't done any bad covers, so we early contacted him, and then Tina had the opportunity to collaborate with him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we saw his work, as you said, in Evergrey's covers, and also Oceans of Slumber. Yeah. And we were really searching for some artists to have something that catch the eye right away, that we wanted for our story, and that has the light, the contents, and the details that we search in stuff that we want to buy. Well, that landed on Giannis, and he is totally amazing.
And you should see the work, the other pictures.
Yeah, but he also done the single covers for our singles. Yeah.
Okay.
Resurrection. That is our backdrop now.
Yeah.
And you have Resurrection.
You said that. Repentance.
No, Repentance. Sorry.
Repentance, Resurrection, and Stigma.
Yeah, exactly.
She was just resurrecting that. So.
Yeah. They have so much, yeah.
But the merch, the T-shirts, and everything, it's oh my God, it's so amazing. So he has done a great work, and Tina obviously also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that one right there is the one I like. I dig that.
Yeah, here's the hexagram right here. There's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's that right there.
On my guitar pick, you found that logo, of course.
Find it, yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see.
But we talked a little bit about it earlier, about physical content and being an old metal nerd. You wanted to have like a physical copy of the albums and everything. And we wanted to make a great physical product. But today you don't have to, but we wanted to make a great physical product for both ourselves and the fans,
and for the listeners,
of course. So,
and then there's the album cover for Netherworld.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right there.
This is also great because it also contains the all the things that we write about in that album, and that was some guy that you knew.
Yeah, I knew him between friends or something. I haven't met him personally, but we have
he done some progressive covers.
Yeah, he also have done
cover art.
lot of covers for a lot of bands like John Petrucci and Evergrey also.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we have really talented graphic designers in
Yeah.
Sweden.
Oh yeah.
But
And in Greece.
there you have but there you have the cover for the backdrop.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the Resurrection Witch 2.0.
Yeah. So it's basically the same witch as you see in the first
Mhm.
cover, in another shape. So
Yeah. So I mean, the work is so well done,
Yeah.
and we've Jason and I we've actually done, like last year we actually did a segment just talking just reviewing album covers,
Mhm.
and Jason and I are both of the opinion that if from just a musical presentation standpoint, I don't think any other genre holds a candle for album artwork that heavy metal does. And I mean, when you look at the last, when you just the covers for the last, I mean, even just the logo you put together for the band, and then the work that gets done for hell, this was just for, like you said, this was just for the single, but then you got the cover work for the LPs. I've got a couple of Evergrey's CDs downstairs on the shelf. So I mean, I know the cover artwork that they've got going on, but I mean, so it never really ceases to impress us how amazing cover work looks, in heavy metal in general, but your guys' stuff turned out so well. And
Thank you.
especially with the artists that you picked, especially like you say, referenced Evergrey and all that other stuff. So you definitely had someone who had quite the portfolio already. So
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I was buying albums. I was not only we talked about metal about Machine Head earlier, but if you have a band like before, and they release a new album, you obviously buy that album. You did when you was a kid. But when you found out new stuff, new music and new bands, it was always the cover catching me. Always. Oh, what a fucking amazing cover.
Yeah.
I have to listen. I have to have that album.
Right.
And I bought the album at home and listen to it. I was fucking hooked.
Yeah, I mean, Motley Crue shout at the devil cover.
Balls to the
My
walls,
God.
except.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And especially back then when you have an album cover that's this big, and then you have to fill that space.
Yeah,
so
you out and the booklets and all.
It is something special to have the physical projects in your hands.
Yeah. So when you right, so when you have something that looks as amazing as those album covers did, and then like the way the artwork on the album, the albums that you guys have, it really, like exactly what you said, Stellan, for someone who may be, like you say, even if you can even go to a music store that has music anymore physically, but you see it on the shelf and you're like, what's this about? So I mean, it's not just okay, it looks good, I mean, it does serve a purpose, and it always has.
Yeah.
And I listen to it, and it's brutal and it's good. Everything turned out 2.0, the cover and the music, everything is fucking amazing. And then like happy guy. So
and me and Chris both are big kind of on hands guys. So we like to have I like to have CDs and stuff on hand, just because sometimes I just don't want to take the time to flip through Spotify or whatever. Just want to put something in and let it play. So especially if I'm on a long trip somewhere. So it's definitely a big thing for us is to have a hard copy. So I don't know if they ever do away with that. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'll be lost, I guess, because I still buy a handful of CDs, at a time most of the time when I do. So I'm a little bit behind right now. Actually, you guys, the Pagans Rising is on the list to buy. So hopefully I can get that in the collection here soon. So especially since I done missed out on the album, obviously, which would have been so fucking awesome to have that. But
so you're
they just had to rub it in, telling me all the details about it.
So you're basically behind all these clouds, asking for a copy of the vinyl sent to you. Okay,
no,
I can say now, like, we're gonna send you a copy, each one a vinyl copy. Okay.
Oh well, I appreciate you.
Man,
Do that. I don't mind. Like I said, with one of the things that we do is we love to get these bands out here and noticed more. That's one of the things that when we started this thing was like, hey, we was outside listening to bands and was like, who the fuck is Onslaught? Like, then you look up and they've been around since like '80s. Like, what the fuck? How did I not know this? Like, it's like it's like because you depended on a certain way of finding out about music, and then you realize, hey, the radio doesn't play this good shit. So what's going on? So then you had to find another way to find this stuff. And like, I mean, Chris could tell you, we spent nights over here at my house, going through a damn rabbit hole on YouTube and just like, oh God, this band's amazing. Who is this? We're writing shit down. And eventually we just like, you know what? We need to do a podcast. I was already doing a podcast with another friend of mine doing something different. And I said, dude, let's do a podcast. I'm already doing this one. We can just add another day on the week. And let's get some of this music out there for these people to listen to and to notice these bands, because some of these bands need more recognition than what they're getting. Yep. And that's kind of like the way we went about doing this. Like, to me, like we talked about this before, we can bring Metallica on. I'm not saying I could ever do that because we're not that big, but I'm just saying if we could have Metallica on, but all those stories. I mean, you know the Cliff Burton deal, you know all that stuff. So what are you going to talk about? I mean, besides if they have a new album out. I mean, so to me, this brings us into light. It's getting people to know who Hexed is, for one. And it's getting people to turn on to your music. And that's what we want to do, is we want to turn more people onto these bands that we think should be bigger than what they are. And like I said, I think you guys, are very well in the right direction of making a career and being your only job. Because like I said, when I did this, and reached out to you guys, it was like, every time I turned around, I seen Hexed somewhere. I'm like, what the hell? Like, these guys are blowing the hell up over there, man. Like, damn, they're on these radio shows. They're on these, they're getting all these great album reviews. I'm like, man, they're on their way. Yeah. So I said, I better jump on it now before I have to pay to get them on here, So.
It's highly appreciated from our end also.
Yeah, it is.
And you spreading like the healthy virus out there. It's really great. And hats off to you guys.
Yeah. And it's thinking, like I said, it's like we can go on, and I create a playlist from Spotify every week, and it's all bands that have new music out, and it's usually bands that nobody's ever heard of. Like I've probably, since I've done this, I've been turned on to so many bands that I've never heard of. And like the good thing is like some of these bands have debut albums this year, so if we're getting this out there from the beginning, maybe they don't have to be 5 or 6 albums deep before they get, to where they want to be. And like I say, it's so competitive too with music. And like I said, it just depends on what you're into. Like, because I mean, I'm not a big death metal guy, just to be honest with you. I'm not really big into that. I know there are a couple of bands and a couple of albums I actually listened to this year, and I was like, damn, dude, for a death metal album, this is pretty fucking good, But I feel like that's one of the genres that just kind of, it's almost like you have to be a little unique in that genre, because everything's kind of the same, I guess. Exactly. And then you'll hear like something that's so amazing musically, and then you hear, I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's like you had me with the hooks, and then but I think it's like you said, I think it's, it's more of like, we want to get, all that music out there that people may not normally listen to, because Spotify is not going to, pop that up in your, hey, you need to listen to this, because they're basing off what you listen to. There's an algorithm in there. It's based off what you listen to before they throw something at you. And then like before I started doing this, I would maybe have 2 or 3 bands a month that I'd never heard of on my playlist. Now that I'm doing this, I'm like, I'm getting bombarded with shit I've never heard of, because they're going by what I've been listening to. And of course, I listen to all of my singles and stuff on Spotify. So it's, that's one of the reasons I did it, because I knew that's what they did. So I'm like, okay, so now it's just going to start spoon feeding me, which I'm okay with. So I don't have to go searching for it.
And you guys will never get out of work.
No.
Always great stuff coming out. All the time.
That's the funny thing is we were we have a show, or we have a segment here on the show where, you know, we do a top 10 segment where every week we'll pick a general theme, and then, you know, we'll each come up with a top 10 list based on that theme. And in doing the research for just that one segment, between the two of us, I mean, every week we are still discovering bands that have, you know, in some instances been around for maybe a decade or two that we just hadn't been turned on to yet for one reason or another, you know, because, you know, this as much as we'd love for it to be, this isn't our 9-to-5 job. So, I mean, you know, we have our everyday lives that we have to focus on first. And then, you know, when we're getting ready for the show, you know, like you guys are a perfect example. You know, we hadn't heard any of the music yet until the new album came out back in September. He heard it. He let me listen to it. I liked the first one. I liked the new one. I went ahead and listened to the first one. I think they're both great. And you know, we are lucky enough that you guys, you know, came on the show so we could talk to you, you know, so, you know, you have 2 new fans for sure. And if this show does anything, you know, to get you know, 10, 20, 30 new fans, you know, we both feel like, if there's anything at all we can do to help, you know, that's exactly what this show was for. So
well, thank you. We appreciate every moment we get to talk about our music and to get to know guys like you and who really, you know, lift underground bands.
It's like a rehearsal, meeting with new guys in our fucking rehearsal room.
Yeah.
And with a couple of beers and talking metal.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But you broadcast shit also. It's even more good.
Oh, so. And before I forget, thank you by the way for you know, because I was you know, following Instagram and Twitter and your Facebook and everything, and you know, we appreciate you getting your appearance on the show on your socials as well as doing the advertising we did. So we greatly appreciate that. So
we're kind of
wanted to thank you for that too. So
we're kind of on a bargain. We're, you know, bargaining chip here. You know, we push you, you push us, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But that was it. What's all about.
It is, yeah. We got to lift everybody up together, you know.
Exactly.
So,
you got to help each other. Yeah.
And that's what, like, we've talked to bands on here, and it's like, you know, we're not going to forget that you were one of the first people that talked to us. And I think, well, you know, that's great. You know, and hopefully there's big things coming for some of those bands, and we can, you know, my thing was I want to be 5-6 years down the road and being, you know, talking about you guys again and said, yeah, this is what we do full time now. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like, you know, I remember, you know, so we can, you know, it's kind of like watching your kids grow, you know what I mean? You're watching this thing develop and grow. And it's so like great to see, especially as a fan and, you know, and as, you know, and, you know, part of the industry, I guess at this point, but, you know, 10 or 30 fans would be great, but we want to get you 10 to 30,000. That's what we want.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
let's see for that one.
And we're talking backstage material.
But so you know, we've come a long way in a short time. Like you know, our bosses gave us numbers sometimes, and we're like, wait, what? You know, it's like we can't believe some of the numbers that we get, and of course we're going over 140 different platforms, so it's not just you know radio or YouTube or anything. We're going to 100. Some of them we don't even know. So I mean, you know, it's like,
that's awesome.
So it's kind of like, you know, we don't have time to like go through and like log into all these things. So we just have to, you know, that's what our boss does. So it's kind of like he's kind of like, hey man, this is what you guys did last week. I'm like, all right, cool.
Great boss.
And the cool thing is there's one other thing that Jason and I have in common with you guys. We're big in Norway too. So.
Congrats, guys.
That is true. Yeah.
Norway is an amazing country in many ways, but one thing they have in common with Sweden, they have
amazing
vocalists,
singers.
It's
something
there.
With the air, I think. I don't know.
It could be,
It could be. Yeah, it could be.
It's not like over here where we have to sing. You know, like all the singers that are good here practice in a smoggy city. So
that's true.
That's where their gutturals come from.
It's like I couldn't sing clean if I want to. My throat's blown out.
Yeah.
I have to move to Norway. Okay.
Bye-bye then.
Hey, so I seen on here, like I wanted to touch base with Tina real quick. I seen on here that says your other interests are the human mind. So is that like psychology or just
Well, every area.
every area?
Yeah,
You just kind of you just kind of like to see how the mind works, or
yeah, but I really like psychology a lot, and also what we can do with our human minds. If you take being sick or something, and you can really train the brain to heal itself, to heal yourself in so many ways. And well, they're just that's a small part, and I won't go too much into it, but you know what I mean, right? I can talk about this for hours.
yeah.
But it's really interesting how we can what we can do with our minds.
The subconscious
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also there's an aspect of the occultism, and also some layers there that I want to research more and dig into. Yeah.
Which is cool, because I think that with that disease, there's so many levels of it. So there's like some people's not as affected as much by it as some others, even though they're still considered autistic. They're still not like full blown autistic, I guess you could say. So,
Exactly.
so yeah, that is a really interesting, because I have a nephew that's autistic, and he's not, he's still active, and he can still, do a lot of stuff in school, but he is in a special class in school just because he's been labeled autistic. But yeah, I could definitely see like the fascination with that. So I just thought it was weird. Like you don't normally see a metal band and they're like, oh, well, my other interests are the human mind. I'm like, wow, that's pretty deep, man. It's like I gotta ask questions now. So
yeah, but I am that person. I am a deep person, and I like genuine conversations, about real life, and I really like to dig deep. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that shows so I didn't know until, we just talked about that you did most of the lyrics. So that would explain a lot when you listen to the lyrics for Hexed. I mean, you could tell it's really deep thought, especially with like you said, with the witch stuff and everything. So it's kind of, which I need to tell my wife that now, because she'll probably listen to this in a whole different aspect now. But she's really big in all that stuff. So she's been on me forever to take her to Salem to see all the witch trial stuff here. So
yeah, I want to mention one song that is Moorfield. You were onto it when you chose one, and there's one that really took some hold on me. An emotional vibe for that one, because that is just nearby our cabin, and the whole thing that was in that case, which you can read about in the LP.
If you have the booklet.
But actually there are three women's destinies that are told in that song, but it's one person that I sing about. And so once you get to know the lyrics, then you also can see the sentence of the artwork as well. You want people to know what you are singing about and feel what you are singing about. Every aspect of it. You want the
put the lyric coat on, so to speak.
Yeah.
And exactly. Be a part of the story, so to speak.
So you got me. So I've never asked this question, but what you said made me want to know now is, have you ever like vocally put down a track and then had to step away and take a breath, going, wow, that's just like, I got to take a minute. Like, did it touch you that deep to actually sing it?
Yeah, for sure. Both on Netherworld and this one. Yeah. The title track for Netherworld was very personal, and where I found myself to be in the Netherworld, but came out of it. So that was one emotional song, and Moorfield also this one. We got to cheers, both of us, because we really could feel the real world in the late 17th century.
Gotcha.
Actually, to take Moorfield as an example of, Tina was away and I was in late editing the last tracks for the album before mix and master and everything, and laying some solo stuff and some vocal stuffs, and I was working on Moorfield, and the ending of the song, it didn't sound like that from the beginning. I can tell you that, but the thing was, I found the mute button.
Yeah.
So you have heard the track, and I hopefully a lot of your fans on the Metalheads Unite will listen to it. The last 30 seconds of the track, it combines the whole album. When you know the lyrics, when she's gone and everything. And I muted away the last sentence because when something is gone, you don't have to say it. You just delete that when I'm, and then you're fucking gone. So I had a moment in the studio there, and I was actually a bit emotional, and I was all alone. I had to walk out and take some fresh air and everything, because it was very emotional for me too. And I'm so happy with that song, and it obviously it's close to my family home and our summer cabin and everything. So it was close in so many ways, in so many aspects. So me too. Even if I'm not singing in that song, I don't sing it one bit. It was emotional for me as well. So I can relate to Tina's statement.
So now hearing the stories behind this is going to make, I think, me listen to it in a different aspect now too. Just because, like, I know the background kind of now, so it's kind of so it may, like I said, I may have a different feel for it once I listen to it again. Right. So
I really hope that, because
which is cool, because that's why I like doing this, is because get I feel a certain way listening. That doesn't mean that was the way you interpreted it, So it's kind of cool to hear the interpretation and then go back and be like, I get it now. You know. So I think that's really cool about what we do, and I really thank you for that. Honestly, I will definitely go. I don't have the booklet to go on with, so I mean,
soon you have. I promise you, Jason, no problem.
I just like I like to cut up. So
well, the thing is, if people are different. People, there are lyric people or music people or combined, and I'm myself or more of a musical guy at first listen, and then it creates something through the melodic stuff or something. I usually like melodic stuff, and then dig deep on the lyrics, and then find a newer layer of the music. And
I think that's me too.
And so, even if it's Exodus or whatever.
But this is also where we find ourselves listening to, like, Crimson Glory and Queen's Right, that also write excellent stuff. Both self-lived stories, but also concept albums that they made. But you get that certain feeling when you can connect to or relate to, or you know what I'm talking about.
You have it when you have a direct emotional connection with what you're writing and singing about.
And I think, like, to go back to what Chris said earlier in the show, was that he didn't feel like that genre of music was as big here, and I think that's why, because we don't have bands like Queensryche and stuff. Like, we don't have a lot of newer bands, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot of older bands from that era, but like Sabotage, and all those bands that we listened to growing up. But it's like we don't have a lot of that exposure here anymore. I guess because we have so many different genres now. Maybe because we talked to a guy, Rick Jimenez from Extinction AD, and he was talking about how a lot of bands now are taking two different genres and mashing them together to make something different. And I think, and I do hear that a lot now. Now that he said that, I didn't before, but like I said, it's some of the things that we learn on the show. We kind of like, I got to get it now. So and like I said, that's really cool to have. And even I started watching, like, the show. I can't remember. It's Alice Cooper and Lizzie Hale and all them are like judges on it, and they had this band come on that were bluegrass and thrash metal. and they and they what do they call howling something?
Howling Seagulls. Is it that?
No, it's
Steven
You're talking about Steven Seagulls.
Steven
yeah,
Seagulls.
Yeah. I've heard of that group, but I don't think that's exactly who he's talking
it's
about.
called
I have heard of Steven Seagulls before.
Yeah, the band I was talking about was called Native Howl.
That's it.
Native,
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I was listening to this, and I'm like, oh my god, it's actually like meshes very well. You would not think that by listening to like, oh, bluegrass and thrash, like really? But they actually created a new genre of metal called thrash grass, and it's like, so it's kind of like so crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy to hear like all this stuff mashing together. I'm like, wow, that's actually something. I was like, you would think like I said, you listen to it, it's kind of like, somebody just told you the ingredients and something at a restaurant. You're like, yeah, I don't know, man. But did you taste it? And you're like, oh, it's not that bad, But yeah, I think it's really cool that we have that, so much like I guess different styles of metal that So like I said, I think that's what like separates the genre from a lot of other genres, because if you just have hip hop, you just have hip hop. I mean, if you have like country, it's just country or pop. It's not like you can go out and say, oh well, this is rock country, this is metal country. I mean, they don't have all that like we do.
No, they don't.
So it's really good that you got like the metal community is so big. I think that's why is because you got a metalcore guy and a thrash guy and a symphonic metal guy and a death metal guy, and they're all at the same show. And it's kind of cool to see that. Because like
that's why I really love the big festivals that
right
the separate genres in it, because it will always keep the spirit alive. Everybody's happy and everybody's just
Yeah, and that's why they call Metalheads Unite.
Yeah,
because exactly.
Yeah,
it's like a festival pod name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but you find new music at each festival.
Yeah,
and the thing is, for me personally, when I'm going to see and when I'm playing or just visiting festivals, I try to recognize new bands and find new artists. And I must say, it's not often I get disappointed. I always seem to be like, what the fuck is this band?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we do that all the time too.
Find new stuff.
We should just read. Actually, we could probably rename the show that. Like, what the fuck is this?
Do you know that band? What the fuck?
We definitely find ourselves saying that a lot on here. Like, wait, what the fuck is this?
It's my fault. Like I said, I usually fuck up.
Hey, the best thing I've learned with creating anything is usually the best things come from the fuck ups. So
it's true. Yeah. That's true.
That's true.
A lot of things in wrestling, that you would relate to. It's like, oh, this guy got big off saying Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Well, that was ad libbed. It was never meant to even be said. So, so I mean, like I said, things happen, by mistake. Usually wind up being a good thing for some people. So, so we talked about Tina's interest a little bit. So, going back to Stellan here, and I'm sorry, ladies, he's already married, but he's into fishing, hunting, outdoor life, cooking, and carpenting. So, he's like the all around perfect guy there. He's musician and all the outdoor stuff to go along with it. So,
I'm like a lumberjack metalhead.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So if anybody there lives close by Stellan and Tina, so in case of the apocalypse, you know where to find somebody that can help you survive. So
of course.
I shred them to death.
There are worse ways to go out. That's for sure.
So
for sure.
So we're gonna eat some fish and do some campfire metal here, and
exactly.
Everybody brings out the acoustic. He's bringing out the electric. So.
Actually, a few years back, we played in our hometown, Uppsala, and the next town, so to speak. It's a 1 hour drive from here, and I was up north hunting between the gigs, and I was so fucking stressed up, and it was like smash and grab, get the guitar and out of here, and get the gun and out of here, and I was standing on stage. And my holding down the fucking guitar. It was so.
Yeah, it was the same day you were leaving, so yeah. It was
one gig and then a week hunting and then back in one gig, and it was all over the place.
That's great. And then I guess go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, well, you would have found out real quick, because the people would have been running from you at the concert if you had a gun, and running
that's
towards
true,
you. The deer would have been running towards you if you would have had the fucking guitar out. So.
And trying to target the moose with the guitar it's bad. I think it's real bad.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe if it's loud enough, you just blow them up from the inside or something.
There you go.
But,
hell, you were out in the woods. I'm surprised you didn't run into a mortal while you were out there. So
that's true.
They're always in the woods, it seems like.
Yeah, they are. True story.
I think what it really is cool, like especially reading all of your guys' like interest is like there's a lot of like common interest there between a lot of the band members. I noticed that David actually likes the nature too, so that's kind of cool that you all you and Tina and him all are involved in like the nature part. And then you got the other two guys that are video gamers, so I guess they're sitting around playing video games, and Patrick's trying to tell Daniel how to what to do with his with his money, since he's an investor too.
Yeah. Conversations.
David is a true hiker.
Yeah,
he's always backpacking, and the camera is with him.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Well, if you're a Scandinavian native and you don't like being outside a little bit, you're in the wrong part. You're in the wrong part of the world. I mean, you're definitely in the wrong part of the world. God, based on the pictures I've seen, Jesus Christ,
man. It's definitely beautiful country there.
Yeah. Good Lord.
And the women.
Women or woman?
You have to come over here, guys.
We definitely got to make a trip over to that area. That's for sure. So
come over here and get your vinyls.
There you go.
Listen,
road trip.
How much do you pay for that vinyl? Well, it was $1,500 for the flight, and then
unique vacation and everything. Quite expensive.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to bring up like anything kind of sad, but with you guys being over there in Sweden, have you guys ever and being metalheads and being from Sweden, have you guys ever been out to Ljungby over there?
To what?
Down to the Cliff Burton site down there in
talking about Metallica site. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did I mispronounce that? Is it? It's
no. It was correct. I was surprised by hearing a Swedish state. Oh, not state, but yeah. Of course, we have been there. Like many of the Swedish musicians or metalheads.
Yeah, because I know they just finally opened the museum there. So we talked about that earlier in the year. So I didn't just kind of curious. And like I said, I don't know why I didn't even think. Well, actually, because the museum wasn't open when we talked to the Defaced. But now that it's open, but I wondered if you guys had a chance to go by there. So because we all
not the museum, not the museum. Haven't been there, but at the site.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Oh wow, that's even
the accident.
Yeah. So
that was really a sad story. I remember it so well when it happened.
So do they have like a memorial at the site?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They definitely should. So that's
I figured they probably did. I just never, I've never seen pictures or anything of it, so I didn't know. Of course, we're a little bit different over here. We take pictures with Dimebag and Vinny's grave and not to call out any names, but myself included. But that's
actually the first albums. I'm a Ride the Lightning guy, and
Master of Puppets,
Master. Those albums was
Yeah.
gold.
Great-
It's pure
great
gold.
ones, yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
And
Really
after
fantastic.
the Black Album, not so much. But
Right.
the first albums is
Mhm.
it's pure amazing.
Well, we've talked about on the show a lot how different we think Metallica would sound now if that had never happened.
Mhm.
With Cliff still being in the band, I
Yeah.
think if you don't know how much he had influence on Metallica, they moved the band for
Mhm.
Cliff Burton. So I mean, they
Yep.
were not going to make a album without without Cliff Burton's blessing, I'm sure. So
Mhm.
No.
so I think we would be talking a little bit different about Metallica nowadays than
Probably,
if
yeah.
that happened. But
Totally.
don't get me wrong, they've gotten their
They've done
very-
just fine. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like some of those bands like that have just hit the lottery with some of their talent. It's just like how like we talk about with my shirt because which engaged with Jesse Leach and Howard Jones, like how do you hit the lottery with two great vocals? Like I don't know, but it's just kind of wild how some of these bands just kind of like just never miss a beat and just bring somebody else in, and it's like, oh wow, they're amazing, So
Yeah.
and I'm sure with you guys, you could probably go back and say the same thing about your former bandmates, but like we've talked about that on here a few times before too. Where I think one of the last was one of our first interviews, and they said that their bassist had to dip because of the COVID, and he had to go back to working full time. He didn't have time for the band anymore, and
Mhm.
so it's unfortunate, but unfortunately, it's a just realism of life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then of course with something you guys built, so you're going to carry it on. So
Right.
Mhm.
and that's kind of like what we talked about. People giving the Pantera reunion such a hard time. Not reunion, but the tribute. I think it's more of people like, oh well, you can't be Vinny, and yeah, it's not. But how many bands do you listen to that are not all original members? I mean, that's the thing. It's like you can't go out and bitch about that, and then you're listening to As I Lay Dying or somebody, and knowing they're not all original.
Exodus, so.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you listen, I mean, all these bands go through growing pains. I mean, it's just part of it. So
Actually, I have a short story about Exodus on Sweden Rock many years ago.
Oh, cool. All right.
Me and Tina's brother Teddy was lying in the grass and having a beer or two or three, and I was smoking cigarettes at the time. Actually, I don't smoke now, but anyway, lying there, had a great time, and between gigs, and we actually hadn't got the opportunity. We had seen the running order, but we hadn't got the opportunity to check out what's coming up next. But we saw like 500, 600, 700 people like running before us to a stage further away, and me and Teddy, what the fuck is happening? And we heard like one little glimpse on the speaker, one tune, and that was, "It's fucking Exodus! Let's run!" It broad daylight, and there was like a fucking machine shoveling the whole grass and everything. It was great. It was fucking great.
Our great live band,
so fucking amazing live band. So
it was absolutely insane getting to see them twice this year. It was phenomenal. Yeah.
So they're the only way you can get those merches through your merch site, or is there other ways that people can get hooked up with CDs and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have it's on Bandcamp and our official site as well.
Yeah.
And Facebook. Yeah.
Hexed.se.
Yeah, Hexed.se.
Okay, cool.
Oh, your guys' official website is. I've been on it. Off and on for the last few days. I mean, it's
we have
made up very well.
Yeah, we have made a lot of updates. Thank you, but we have made a lot of updates, so during this last couple of days, actually.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
now
that's
it's
what
final, I think.
Yeah.
We have updated with content
Until
yeah.
news.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I think every band, that's also tips from us to bands out there. Don't only rely on like Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
and all
Right.
those kind of platforms. Use a
Official
homepage
sites, yeah.
that always gonna be there. So you have like a fan base growing on a stable like platform. Use, of course, Facebook and everything also, but always use a
But with the
webpage.
changes of the algorithms all the time, it's more likely that you don't get the news out immediately when you have one.
Yeah.
But on your site, and if you have the followers to get the email list and everything, you always get the news on time.
We have like close to between 9 or 10,000 followers on Facebook, but the integration.
But you reach like 10%.
It's
Right.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Bad.
You have
We are. Yeah, we know how they do their things over there. So, and they're almost at the point to where if you're not posting something controversial toward politics, you're not going to see it. And I don't know how many times I go through and like not hit that little button over there saying I'm not interested in its politics. I don't care.
Same.
And because you got to filter all that stuff out to see what you want to actually see, which
you need to choose a lot. Yeah.
Right. In which fortunately that following following a lot of bands like you guys on there, I can see when you post a story, so that kind of gives it kind of gives a little bit more not notoriety there, but
yeah.
I think you get more from that than you do the actual feeds.
Yeah, you do.
And we'll actually share the website on our page as well for you guys, so that way everybody can run over and check out
the Bandcamp.
Check out the check out the merch and stuff like that, because we know that's how a lot of bands make their money is off the merch. Speaking of that reminds me, we were talking about something. I actually had that question wrote down. We actually talked about something earlier in the year where a band here had stopped and like really called out the venue that they were working for, because the venue says, hey, we didn't have enough ticket sales, we need 20% of your merch now. So is that something you guys run into sometimes over there, where venues want part of merch sales, or is that just something here?
No, it's quite common actually.
Really?
The venues take a percentage of some sort. It's how do you say?
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we call it. Yeah.
No, fuck. No. It's
It's
a difference between the countries. In some countries, it can be quite much actually, but it's common that they take a percentage.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because like I said, I try to use that metaphor to go along with wrestling, because when I wrestled, the promoter said, hey, this is what I'll pay you to be on my show. I'm like, cool. Like that's my job, is to go out and entertain the people that come.
Yeah.
It's the promoter's job to get their asses there. It's not my job to go. Yeah, it's not my job to go out here. Like I'll post it on my socials and stuff. Yes, but it's not my job to go out and paint the town red with fly. I mean, that's your job as a promoter. So you want a radio spot to advertise it. You do the advertising. You're the promoter. I mean, so how's it my fault that I show up and there's only 15, 20 people here? That's not my fault. That's your fault.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, we didn't have enough money, we can't pay you. I said, no, I'm getting paid, or somebody ain't walking out of here this room. So because I'm making, that's one of the things, like as a wrestler, independent wrestler, you can say, hey, I'll do this for this much money, and then if you don't get paid, then usually it doesn't end very well. So usually it ends with the promoter and they're bleeding with his pockets empty. But you don't tell a room full of 200 plus pound guys that are muscle bound that I don't have the money to pay you guys. Well, we're getting our money somehow. We got to eat. So but I think that's, like, to me if a venue is going to promote that and be like, okay, well, so if I'm going to run a show and I'm going to have Hexed on there, I know I'm going to be like, hey, what do you guys charge to do a show? And that's usually what I would be like. I would say $1,500 or whatever, just giving an estimate. I don't know what you guys, I don't want you to put that out there either. So, because it kind of depends on logistics and where you're going. So, but just say, all right, $1,500. So from that point, if I got you and then 3 other bands on there and I got to pay those guys, so I'm taking all that money and then I'm going to divide it by, say, how many people my bar can hold, say 300 people. Then I'm going to divide it by 300 people, and that's going to give me my ticket sales. Then I'll add a little bit to that to make money. Of course, I'm going to make money off beer and stuff if I'm in a bar, so I don't understand why I would need 20% of your merch. I don't understand that at all.
20% of the merch that you didn't go out and order.
That you paid for. It's Somebody would have told me that at wrestling, said, "Hey man, I need 20% of your merch." I'm like, "Oh, my dead body, motherfucker! We ain't doing that shit here." But so, I mean, I get it though. If it's like so common, then I mean, it kind of limits where you play though.
Yeah, it usually is around 5 or 10% deal or something. But the thing is, it's a huge variety of the services done by the personnel on the venues. If you have like a staff on the venue selling your merch and are professional and display your merch on in the best way and everything, I have no problem. Then I pay the guy or girl selling our stuff, and that's a huge service for us. But then when the venue just craves for us to sell, then I get pissed off. That's another thing. If I'm going to sell my merch myself and play at your fucking place, then I get all the money myself.
If you're doing all the legwork.
But when you have staff on the scene selling your stuff, that's okay. That's fine for me.
Okay, gotcha.
In limited ways, like 5 or 10% maybe, but over that, fuck off. It's not my thing.
Because
the easiest way then is to just don't take merch.
Right.
With you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is, like you said, Jason, that the only, not the only way, but a huge way to get earnings or something in the coffin for the band is to sell merch. But if they can rip you off like 20-25%, I say no, we don't have any merch with us, so sorry.
Because
like I've gotten to the point where I'll ask a lot of the bands, like, hey, is this 100% your money? Because if not, then I'll just buy it off your website. Fuck this venue. I mean, that's the way I feel. That's just the way I feel about it. I'm not paying. First off, I've already paid the venue. Probably and probably done spent $100 on food and alcohol in this place. So I'm not. So I'm no. I mean, we just went to a festival and I think we spent close to $500 just on t-shirts because that's I'm sure like with that, the band, like they have their own people as far as the festival selling stuff out of the tent. So I do know that because I remember them saying, "Oh no, the band didn't come by and picked up their stuff." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I do know at the festivals they have their own people, but yeah, I see what you're saying though. That kind of makes sense, I guess. If you're if you got their people set on it for you, then I guess you can see that. But if you're but like I said, you're putting all that money in to make all this t-shirts and all this products. So I don't see how, if you have nothing to do with it, why you should get a cut of that. But that's just me. But I just don't see that being very fair. Yeah,
that's why you always have to buy on, like you said, on the official like band pages and stuff. And I get really both sad and a bit angry when I see, buy this Slay t-shirt here, blah blah blah, on mambo jumbo fucking site, and I know the band hasn't got a penny from this sale. So always go, if you want a Hexed merch, you go to Hexed Metal on Instagram and click onto our website and Hexed SE or Bandcamp and buy from the band. Then the earnings go where they belong. so to speak.
Exactly.
Always buy the official stuff. Always.
In the right
you don't want to be wearing a t-shirt and walk up into Hot Topic 6 months later and see it in there too. It's like, what the fuck?
Right. Yeah.
Actually, I had that happen. I'm like, what the fuck? Like at the show, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're only making these. You know, you can only buy here at this show. We're not making any more of them." Like,
That's the only thing I can say in a foreign country, foreign language. Is what the fuck? That's the only thing. Like I said, I always fuck up.
I was like, you telling me it's like the last thing we're not just it's kind of one of a kind. We're not selling them anywhere else, and then you go to Hot Topic 6 months later and see the damn same shirt. You're like, what the hell, man? Like,
yeah,
one of a kind, my ass. It's like
that's like with the amount of shows I've been to this year. I'll get home from the concert, and I lay the keys down and I'll have a shirt draped over my shoulder. My wife's like, "You bought another shirt, huh?" It's like, well, yeah, I had to buy a show shirt at the show. So
yeah.
She's like, don't you already have 3 Machine Head shirts? Yeah. I said, but this is from this
obviously
concert. The other ones are from I was like,
that's from 3 years ago.
Yeah,
that's the last concert.
Yeah, this one's from this concert. I already have ones from the other concert. Yeah, you always so you always want the one, I always want the one with the tour dates on it, So
right. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I want. So I've got like one drawer in my dresser that's like overflowing. I've had to move my concert shirts to another fucking drawer in the dresser. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Same problem here.
Yeah.
Well, I say most people go through their closet and go, well, let's see, red, black, yellow. I'm going Kill Switch, Exodus, Testament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean,
what band? You know it's going to be a band shirt. Just don't know what
exactly.
it's going to be. So.
We'll see the
alphabetic order for everything.
Well, see the messed up thing is like my dresser is overflowing with band shirts and my closet's overflowing with hockey jerseys. So I mean, I've got my wardrobe is ridiculous on 2 fronts. So I mean, it's just,
I just had to like get rid of a lot of work shirts just to have room for my concert shirts. So
there you go. You go to work and it's like, didn't you wear that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? It's like, yeah, it's the only one I got.
Well, luckily,
you know the answer. Then you say only, what the fuck?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, who cares? I'm just here to work. Yeah.
Well, luckily, I just go from my bedroom to my kitchen right now, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But
well, that is true. Yeah, you're still working remote. That's true. Yeah,
for at least another year or so.
Man, that's gonna play.
Yeah,
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, they said it was Q3 of 2023 now. They keep pushing it back, so I don't know if I'll ever go back to an office, but
that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I'm okay with it, saving me on gas money. So
Yeah.
That's probably another thing you guys are running into over there is, I mean, of course, bands in general, but the prices of the petrol over there are ridiculous. I mean, we bitch about it over here because we bitch about it over here because we're Americans and we're lazy. But I mean, but I've seen the news reports about the amount of money you guys pay per. Is it per liter? Is it per liter over there? Per liter? Per liter?
Per liter,
Per liter. It's still per liter. Yeah. So the amount of money you guys are paying for petrol per liter is ridiculous. So
So you can imagine going with a nightliner through Europe on 15, 20 dates.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, men also several bands canceled their tours because of
due to the gasoline prices.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. Like I said.
Yeah. So I can only imagine having to set all that up, and like you say, the setting up these big ass trucks to carry all the gear, and then you got the tour bus to take you guys from place to place, and all this other stuff.
It's really expensive.
road crews and all that other stuff. So I mean, just it's really no wonder that that it has taken its toll the way it has, but. It's no surprise, but it is ridiculously unfortunate, and hopefully, I'm hoping it's something that doesn't really last long term for everybody involved. Not just for the for the fans not being able to see the artist, but I mean for you guys, because this is your guys's. Well, it's your secondary lifeblood, but I mean it's your first love. So
Well, you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't. You want to make a living doing it,
right? Exactly. I
don't think any bands. I don't think any bands out there saying, "Oh, well, this is just what I like to do on the weekends." I mean, I think every band. I think every band that we've talked to is into it to be,
in it to win it for sure.
Income. So
the main purpose for us in Hexed are the live thing. Going out and play. I could stay at home in our studio and
just produce
songs and put them on Spotify and Deezer and everything. But I want to interact and meet people and have beers. Sometimes too many beers and having a great time and play.
Doing what you love.
Yeah. So the live thing is the major reason why we are doing this. So, to be on a high high almighty stuff and I play for myself and everything. Fuck that shit. You play for the fans and you play for interacting. That's the reason you're doing this. Don't be I hate that kind of stuff. I play for myself. Yeah, stay home and play. Okay.
Play with yourself.
And then add what the fuck.
That's right. Yeah. So
I want a Hex T-shirt now that says that on the back. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. There you go.
Next March.
That's all you need is you just need the hexagram logo on the front and then what the fuck on the back. That's all you need. I would buy 2 of those. I swear to God, I would buy 2.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
Just make sure you put what the fuck and you just kind of sublimate your signature on it on there somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if it's just S.G, just put it on there. So you said you've got a studio. So I mean, are you guys also doing your own production on everything?
Not everything, but the main part. We've done vocal tracking, guitars, bass, keyboard layers, but the drum edited and recorded in another place.
Studio.
Okay.
And and from there we done everything. So.
Okay. So do you have somebody else who does the final mix and master and all that stuff too?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a great guy called Ronny Björnström. He deserves a shout out because he has done so many great things and should be more highlighted. He has done things with like Sorcerer, Meshuggah, and his productions is all over the place and so fucking brutal. So he's a really
great
talented
guy. Great sound.
He 3-hour drive from our home, give or take. So he had done the mix and master for the album.
Okay. Yeah, because that's just another example of like Jason talks about this a lot on the show. It's just another example of it's not just the artists themselves. I mean, there is no art to listen to if you don't have talented people to put it together and and make sure it's ready for people to hear. If there's no there's got to be someone to make the cover art. There's got to be someone to make the shirts. There's got to be someone to drive the bus, and so it's not just the guys on stage.
No, it's all the co-workers as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean,
and the thing is, if it only was, so to speak, making music, making tracks, and record them. But you have to be like an entrepreneur. You have to promote yourself. You have to recruit the right guys, like you mentioned there, Chris. And the technician was top notch, and the roll crew and everything. So we have to have a wide genre of people around the band for pushing the band in the right direction. So it's a huge work around the band. It's not only the artists.
I said before too. We know how great of a guitarist Dave Mustaine is, but if he don't have a good sound guy, then he can sound like he just picked it up for the first time. I mean, it's like so if you don't have that person that's got that pitch and that everything just perfect, then and we I said that the light guys, all those guys that put the stages up and move equipment around. It's like it's so crazy to see like a lot of bands that we thought. I just seen one a while back, and I was like, wow, is that him up there taking the shit? Like they were taking their own shit down, and I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. They're like big, I was like, but I mean, I guess a lot of people still like to do their. It was a drummer too, so you know how they are about their drum kits. So.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patrick.
He's like, no, bro, I got this. Get everything else. Don't touch my kit.
But the thing is,
reminds me of the Step Brothers thing. Did you touch my drum kit? No.
Yeah.
There's a chip in my stick. It was already there.
But you can totally nail a gig and make everything perfect, and you feel like, oh, I managed to perform. This gig was 100% from all involved in the band. And when I talk with people afterwards and fans and sell a T-shirt, and the sound wasn't so good. Mm-hmm. There you are. If you have like great sound guys and light guys and girls for that matter, and laying that extra like layer on everything, like whipped cream on everything, then you have a great product. But you have rehearsed, you have like recorded everything, and you put out an album, but everything falls down because of bad sound. Live. Then that's the real life for a musician. You have to have the right people around you.
It's
very important.
It's
and
kind of
and I've seen some bands that sound good indoors and not outdoors too. It's kind of like wow. It's like that does not sound like it sounded last time I've seen it, but I mean it was still like okay, but it's still just not. I think there's like a lot of difference you have to do sound wise from indoor to outdoor.
You have the wind outside also that can
true.
Be but I'm totally with you there.
It's kind of funny that we're talking about this specific thing at the moment, because like we talked about earlier in the show, Jason and I we got to see the Bass Strikes Back tour twice. when we went to see the show down in Chattanooga, which is about 2.5 hours southeast of us, when Testament was up on stage playing, Chuck, even during the show, Chuck Billy, he was like communicating with the guy with the sound guy. Like if he needed something, like he was singing, like he would sing one of his parts, and then during one of the guitar parts or during one of the solos, he would like, or he would point at like Alex Skolnick. He would like point and go like this or go like this. So even during the show, he was like Chuck Billy. He was like he was trying to make adjustments. Like, all right, I need this a little higher. I need that a little lower. So it was cool to see him doing that, because you figure they just get up there and they're like, all right, the sound check guys are going to take care of it. We just go up there and let it rip. So I mean, the fact that he was like directing traffic during the show just to make sure everything sounded just the way he wanted it. Of course, Chuck Billy's doing this shit for 40 years, but but as an aside, and Jason
still can't don't know the lyrics to one of his older songs, right?
Right. Yeah. So fast forward to the second time we got to see him, in Nashville. He missed his mark at the beginning of Into the Pit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he had to stop the song, and he started laughing at himself, and all the other guys started laughing at him, and I'm standing up against a rail. I'm dying laughing, and my daughter's like, "What?" And I was like, "Chuck Billy missed his cue."
I think the funniest part of that for me was he was like, "I know where I'm at." He said, "What are y'all doing?" He's like trying to blame it on them. Like,
I think he said, "What the fuck?" I know.
He did actually. He did. They started the song back over, but it was
the universal context.
Yeah.
So now, thanks to Stellan, we're going to have a what the fuck counter on every one of the interviews now. So like every time what the fuck gets said, it's going to counter up over here on the side.
We need
put on a signal. Every time that guy in the bowler guy says something, it's beep.
Now we can push this whole segment. Like, check out Hexed. The interview with Hexed, it was the what the fuck segment. So
that's right.
We're marketing geniuses over here. So.
Yeah, we are. I mean, between the four of us, we got it down, I think. Yeah, we do. We need like a little graphic with a counter that we can just
like just highlight.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I know we're pushing you guys into the late evening over there, and I don't want to keep you away from your evening activities there. And I know you said you guys were kind of on a mini vacation too, so I really do appreciate you guys taking the time in your vacation to talk with us.
We appreciate you having us.
That's it. I even feel more humble now that you said that in the beginning. I'm like, oh wow,
right, yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
No worries.
Somebody would have called me on my vacation. I'd be like, nah, bro.
We definitely would have.
Vacation from Hexed,
That's a lie. Actually, I did this show live from on my vacation. So I did. We both did one on location. Yeah.
I did one on location from Michigan back in September. So I did the same thing.
Yes.
Dedicated people.
Yeah, we love what we do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like that's what what people don't understand is we don't make anything off of doing what we do. So it's kind of like we don't have to like be on here every week. We choose to be. We love doing it.
We love doing this.
Yeah.
Especially with the interactions
Saturday. Yeah.
Especially the interactions with the bands. That makes it just that much more up and rare. Like I don't even think I slept hardly at all last night, just thinking about today, because I was like, man, it's like so cool to like get to talk to bands and everything. Yep. I think I get overly excited sometimes.
I do too.
And it's like kind of get giddy, I guess. But
yeah. Well, I'm still, I was just gonna say I'm still. I'm still at the point where I'm just like, they want to talk to us? Really? They want to talk to us? That's the point. I'm still at that point. Yeah. It's just
we talk about our new album, we talk about our band, we talk about stuff all around, and being like metal nerds, all four of us.
Right.
Exactly. And when you lift the topic like lyrics and stuff, I hopefully you gain some people to become interested in reading and listening and everything. So we are really happy to be here and talking to you guys, and hopefully you reach out some new fans. And
we hope to turn a lot more people on to you guys. That's our big purpose. So
I will tell you one thing. If this interview wraps up in the next minute or two or whatever, I guarantee you this will not be the last time that anyone hears about Hexed from us. So I mean, we're definitely going to do all the pushing that we can do, and we definitely hope this isn't the only time we get to chat with you guys. So
this is the last time.
Oh shit! Man.
What the fuck?
There goes. No, Chris, sorry. I know. I'm listening to it. I'm really happy to hear what you're saying. I'm not
and I think it's cool, like especially when you guys were talking about the artists and then the people that help produce and stuff like that. It's like the thing out of Tina's mouth was like they're all nice guys, and I think that's a thing that gets misunderstood about the metal community. Is like, oh well, they're all just like dickheads and want to do all this headbanging and devil worshiping. Like that's not what all metalheads are all about. So it's and if you've ever been to a show and been in a pit, how courteous metalheads can be, because I mean you get down, you pick the fellow man back up and we keep going. Absolutely. It's kind of and I've seen so many bands, especially at festivals, they'll stop and like, hey, we gotta people throw up the little X sign to stop the show, and say, hey, we got somebody hurt, and they'll say, hey, we get paramedics over here, get out of the way, the band will stop playing. You're like, all right, we ready, we cool, and they'll just pick back up, which is cool. Like I don't think you may get that at other shows, I don't know, because I don't go to them, but I think with metal I see that a lot, and I think that that goes a long way of people showing them that they're just guided in what a metalhead is actually all about. So
love and respect.
Right.
I think that I love science in many ways, and I'm convinced that in like a decade or so in the future they will notice that all metalheads all around the world share the same DNA.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
I have never witnessed any problems in our touring life with the band or as a visitor at festivals. Everything is like huge family sharing the same interest, and we're talking with a Polish guy or a Greek guy or a German guy or whatever.
We're there for the same reason that we love metal.
You don't even have to have a language. You just share a beer and
right.
For life. Look at each other's t-shirts and what the fuck?
Porn slang.
Language. It's like it's brutal.
We were actually at a festival here not too long ago. It was about an hour and a half west of here, and it was the very, very first year that they've had this one. So it was a brand new festival that never been held before. So Jason and I, we just decided to go as fans. We didn't take the show with us or anything else. So we were like, we want to just see this thing as a fan, see how it goes, see what it's like. So we go to this thing, and there was a lot of lead up to, it was called the Tennessee Metal Devastation Music Fest, and there were a lot of people around the town where the festival was going to be held, and there were these stories coming out about the people in this town, and I won't call out the name of the town, but there were a lot of people in this town who, I know you guys remember the Satanic Panic stuff from back in the 80s and everything. Yeah. So there was a lot of that stuff going on, and there were people who were literally worried about a portal to hell to hell opening up at this festival. Well, we were there the whole day, and we didn't see one. So
actually, I took a picture of one of the bands while they were on stage, and it was so funny. The moon was full. It was directly over the stage. And like when I took it, it did one of those little things where it kind of like put a little glare off to the side, so it looked like there was two like moons there. Wow. And I was like, "Wow, man!" I said, "We're almost in full mitosis of the moon, and like, if it's not going to open now, then it's not going to." So
and you're still here?
Yeah, we're still here. So,
lucky bastard.
Well, we both disappeared for 3 days, but nobody knows why.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
So that's another story. That would take next time, right?
Yeah. So I mean,
we just woke up in the woods with nothing but our drawers on, and
it was.
We said that about the Pagans Rising album also. That oh my God, we're not going to play in several states in US because of this.
Because of the cover
art? No, not only the cover art. We talk about the lyrics, and like the church
blaming the
church for a lot of stuff happened, but it actually was like that. So I don't need to go to every state in US. I can play in several states, but
there'll be definitely plenty of markets where you could play. But there'll be plenty. Yeah. But
just say Nashville don't give a shit about none of that. So
they don't. They really don't. No.
Great to hear.
Yeah. No, I mean we've Slayer's been here multiple times, all that good stuff. Yeah. So any band like that. So you won't have to worry about that. You won't have to worry about that here. But the funny thing, like at that festival that we're at, everyone it was exactly like you were talking about. Everyone was having a good time. Our friend Victor was there. Like I say, he's originally from, Peru, but he lives in Nashville now. So, he was there. We were hanging out with him. We were hanging out with one of the other bands that we've interviewed. They actually were finally able to make the trip down. They came down out of Pennsylvania. So they came down. We got to hang out with them and talk with them. But everyone was having a good time. And the funny thing was like there wasn't even any trash laying around at the end of the day. Right. Everyone like threw away their trash. They didn't leave the venue like a complete disaster, anything like that. So it's like, I always laugh when everyone kind of, peg, like Jason said, like pegs metalheads as, we're just walking around with scowls on our faces all day, wanting to slit the throats of the first person who looks at us the wrong way, and shit like that. So, and then we just completely go, as a general fan base, we just go and prove everybody wrong, like time and time again. So
I always like people look at like some of my shirts funny, and I usually just try to be a wise ass about some of the stuff, just like snarl up at us or whatever. Like we had that we were on our way back from the Blue Ridge Rock Festival in Virginia, and me and my wife stayed a night in Gatlinburg. And there was some people, we were walking the streets. Of course, we had some of our concert shirts on. And we just got some of these, snotty looks or whatever. So, so we just started going down the fucking street, going "fucking Slayer!" Like, "Fuck you!" Look at us, fucking crazy because of what we're wearing. Like, really?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like a visual contact with other people when you're traveling around the world. You don't need to say something. You notice, like I said, a Slade t-shirt in the Walmart or whatever, and you that guy is okay. That's
yeah. You can,
that's the truth. So
you just see him and you just do one of these.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's all you gotta do.
Actually, I had an old lady look at one of mine too one time, and she just kind of gave me. She was just like keeping her distance and snarling at me and all that stuff. I said, "It's okay, lady. Your son's probably too old for us to slaughter or anything. So you're good." She just kind of like looked at me even worse then. But
when people not metalheads look at your T-shirt too much, I usually say, "No, it's not for sale. It's mine."
Yeah, there you go.
Then they back off.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're gonna love the "What the fuck" shirts when they come out.
Yeah,
so.
right.
Yeah. Hook you up on that one, Jason.
Well, hey, we like I said, we appreciate you guys taking the time out to join us today and talk about the new album Pagans Rising and the band and sharing some of those stories with us was really cool. Really do. And a little friendly badger there, so I love that too. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be saying "what the fuck" for a long time now.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to like put a little thing out beside it, trademarked by Stellan. But,
yeah. Stellan Gunnarsson, 2022.
Yep. Me and Tina must say we are humbled and really happy to talk to you guys and your fans on Metalheads Unite, and we really appreciate the opportunity to be on a show and hopefully again soon sometime.
Yeah, absolutely, anytime.
The rest of the guys as well.
And we will come to the States and play for you guys in the future. We hope.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
We'll work for it. And Chris and Jason have an amazing weekend, and you want to round it up. So we thank you from us.
Yeah, so, very much.
So you can sum it up in your way.
Yeah. Well, we like I said, we just appreciate you guys taking the time, especially like I said, you guys said you were kind of on a little mini holiday there. Yep. So we really do appreciate taking the time out to talk to us, and we wish you much success on
absolutely
the album and upcoming tours and stuff. And I don't, like I said, it's like one of the bands I think that's really like came into their own blowing up. Like it's like so amazing to me to be able to, like when I started reaching out and then seeing all the like different stuff you guys were doing, I said, man, this band is getting out there. So this is cool. So hopefully you guys are growing a huge fan base and get to the success that you so well deserve.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That's right. I couldn't have said it any better myself, especially since I'm tripping over my own words today. But having said that, everybody go out and go on over to hexed.se and check out the Hexed official website. Go to the official website, buy the official stuff, and check out the new album Pagans Rising on Spotify, and follow all their socials. I think are you guys at Hexed Metal at all of your socials? Instagram and Twitter and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So so you guys can find those guys on their socials with at Hexed Metal. So check out Pagans Rising, check out Netherworld too. I mean, don't just check out the new one. Check out the new one, check out the debut album. They're both fantastic. And hey, show them some love. They definitely deserve it.
Yeah, you can go over to their site and get all their merch, and
Mhm.
and I think you said also can catch them on Bandcamp as well. So
Yep.
a lot of the people are on Bandcamp, I think, a lot. So
And if it happens, festival usually ask people
Which
to
bands
which bands they want to have to the festival.
yeah,
You know what to write.
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Exodus and Hexed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exodus and yeah. Actually, if in the not too distant future, if there is something, because I know that there, like, especially over here, there will be festivals that like will put up a poll.
Yeah.
If that happens for one of the festivals over, in your guys' neck of the woods over there in Europe, if you guys are ever up on a poll, let us know, and we will make sure that we share the poll that you guys are on for that particular festival. Let us know, give us a heads up. We'll try to, we always try to keep our eyes open for it anyway, but if there's anything that you guys are, hey, vote for us for this festival or whatever, let us know, and we will get the word out there also. So,
or anything you guys do, you're welcome to share with us, and
we'll
absolutely pass it along for
every news we got for you.
Sure. Super thanks.
Yeah, we definitely. Yeah, we're like I say, we'll most likely see it because I did make sure that we're following you guys. We've got the Twitter follow, we've got the Instagram follow, we got the Facebook follow now. So we'll definitely keep our eyes out for anything. But if there's something coming up the road that you need us to get out there, just let us know. We'll get it out there. Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Super.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us, man. It's been a great pleasure for us for sure. So
we should do a sequel on this and talk only hockey and wrestling.
There we go.
Hey, I'm down with that too. Yeah, we can. We can change we can definitely change the thing to a different day and everything. We can really call that "What the Fuck."
Don't get him started.
Sorry.
And we'll call that show "What the Fuck" because everybody be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Yeah.
The What the Fuck show.
Be Metalheads Unite. Yeah, be Metalheads Unite presents What the Fuck with Stellan and Tina.
And Chris and Jason, obviously.
They're talking about everything. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, we share the DNA.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
The metal DNA.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
Stellan and Tina, thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great evening. And like I said, hopefully we'll hear from you guys again real soon.
Yep.
Likewise.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, and have an awesome weekend, guys.
Yeah,
and,
you too.
Here and see you guys soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right. Take care.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh man. All right. I mean, if you guys want to stay for the rest of the show, you can. But
I don't find the fucking button. What the fuck?
You can't find the "What the Fuck" button.
Bye, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. That's fucking
I was gonna say if they want to stay for the rest of the show.
Oh, yeah,
totally
I'm okay
fine.
with
I
that,
don't have a
too,
problem with that.
Man, that was so awesome.
I was about to go. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
No, you hang up. You first. Oh man, that was such a great interview.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I am not on radio.co anymore. So.
Oh well, we wrapped it up at 2:45. I guess we wrapped it up at a good time. So.
Yeah. So they get the whole interview. That's all they get.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's all right.
I don't even know if I want to do much, honestly, after that, because.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, we don't really have to if you don't want to. I mean, we can do. We can do the top 10 and we can do the album reviews real quick.
I could run through the birthdays and we can do that. And
sure,
we can do that. We can save all the news stories for next week. I mean, I don't think there was nothing in there real pressing.
Not really, I don't think.
How much hitting the road do we have? Did you have? I think I only had 3 things. I think.
Well, I mean, I ended up with 4 pages, but that's a little misleading because I did a lot of cutting and pasting, so it took up a little more space. But
let me. Let me see if I got anything. I think everything I have was for 2023 anyway, so I don't think it's going to hurt anything to wait.
Well,
you got anything that's coming up soon? Or?
Actually, it looks like everything I've got on the Hitting the Road is either starting in December or starting in 23. So we could probably just I could probably just hold this and add to it, and we can just do a 2-week Hitting the Road next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I'll just run through these birthdays real quick then. And,
okay.
So October 30th, we had Chris Slade, of course, drummer for AC/DC. October 31st, how like for I guess for me, I don't know what I'm trying to say now. Of how I guess proper this is, I guess that Mickey D from Motorhead and the Scorpions was born on Halloween, but
oh, there you go. Yeah, that only makes sense.
Yeah.
Myrna, you have a great weekend too. Thanks for coming by and checking out the interview. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And then we had Mitch Harris, guitarist for Napalm Death. November 1st, we got Rick Allen, drummer for Def Leppard. November 2nd, we had Andrew Elk, singer for Sleaze Bees. Then we had Bobby Dahl, bassist for Poison, and Fieldy, bassist for Korn. November 3rd, we had Nick Simper, bass guitarist for Deep Purple. Mick Thompson, guitarist for Slipknot. Tim McElrath, guitarist for Rise Against. November 4th, we had Jordan Rudis, keyboardist for Dream Theater. Then, of course, we had Wayne Static, vocalist for Static X, who unfortunately left us in 2014.
Yep.
And then we had November 5th, we had Jeff Watson, guitarist for Night Ranger, Brian Wheat, bassist for Tesla, and then Angela Gassa, of course, vocalist and now manager for Archie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
So happy birthday to all of those. And then if I miss anybody, happy birthday to you. And, of course, like always, if anybody out there had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well.
Yeah, one of our I know that a buddy of mine and a former Metalheads Unite member. I can't remember what day his birthday was. Hang on. But my good buddy Andy, he's my good buddy Andy Jeter. His birthday was, I think, Thursday. I want to say it was Thursday, but so yeah, he had a birthday this week too. So.
Okay, cool. Well, happy birthday, Andy.
So happy birthday to Andy. Yeah.
All right, so I got to flip through all my stuff here.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten a little out of order here with. Of course, that's the funny thing is if we start to consistently have an issue where interviews are running long to where some of the normal content takes a backseat, I'd kind of be okay with that. So
yeah. I guess we can do the top 10 real quick. We decided to go with autumn, fall stuff there. My birthday is on the 8th. Oh,
well, Myrna, that'll be next week. That doesn't count.
So we'll include you on next week's.
Yeah.
But happy birthday to you.
I'm not saying it till next week. No, screw that.
But our top 10 metal songs we chose this week was autumn fall related. So I don't know about you, but I had issues with this one, man. I was like, wow, it's kind of
well,
even searching the way that you did, I still was like, still had a little bit of issue.
Well, the funny thing
I guess finding a lot of it on Spotify was the main part, but.
Well, maybe. But here's the funny thing is, like, I'm not getting too far ahead, but I did have issues and I didn't at the same time. I ended up with 18.
Oh, I only got the 10, so
that's fine. That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, I only got the 10, so
that's fine.
So I kicked it off with Shadows Fall, of course, for fall, and took a Destroyer of Senses from the Art of Balance 2002. Then I went with Killswitch Engage, When Darkness Falls, which we'll learn about that here tomorrow.
No shit.
God. From the album The End of Heartache 2004. Then I took a band called Arrival of Autumn, which I found through the Encyclopedia Metallum.
Oh, so you did what you ended up doing?
I did a little bit of that, yeah.
See, that's a good way to do it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, I got like 2 bands, and then like some of the other stuff like triggered some stuff that I was like, oh shit. So then I started like remembering some other stuff. So I didn't have to depend on it too much. Just for 2 bands. But Arrival of Autumn, Old Bones, New Blood from Harbinger 2019. And then I took Autumn Lies Buried, Last Ride from The Delusion of the New World Kings in 2019. And then I went with August Burns Red, Invisible Enemy from Phantom Anthem 2017. Then I went with Lamb of God, Lies of Autumn, which is actually a Burn the Priest song, but it's from their Hourglass Volume 1, The Underground Years 2010.
There you go.
And then I went with Metallica, Harvester of Sorrow, because you harvest everything in the fall. So, and okay, from Injustice for All, 1998. Then I took Exodus Body Harvest from Blood In, Blood Out, 2014. And then I went with Blood Simple, Red Harvest from that's the title track from the Red Harvest album in 2007.
That sucks that they're not together anymore.
I know that band was so fucking good. And then last but not least, I chose Seven Dust Fall, and that was from the Scream 3 soundtrack in 2000. So,
oh shit! There you go. Yeah. So I actually got to see and meet Blood Simple. They were on tour with Disturbed, and Angela and I went down to see him at the Tabernacle in Atlanta. I'm wanting to say, fuck, what year was that? Ah, shit, I don't remember what year it is, but it was Disturbed, it was Scum of the Earth, and Blood Simple was opening up. And I actually have their album autographed downstairs because I got to meet them after the show back then. Yeah, so that was very cool. So yeah, the good thing is we don't have any overlaps this week, so this is going to be one hell of a playlist. Like I say, I ended up with 18, and I tell you what, I don't know if you noticed, because if you started searching for songs on Encyclopedia Metallica the way I did, I don't know if you noticed, but good God, do black and death metal. Jesus Christ! Black metal and death metal bands love singing about autumn, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Ridiculous. I couldn't believe the amount of black and death metal and doom metal and funeral black metal, depressive black metal, and it's like, good God, there's a lot of bands. Of course, the funny thing is a lot of those bands were broken up too. I don't know if you noticed that too. So
yeah,
but it is what it is. I mean, we never wish for a band to break up, regardless of what subgenre they're in. So it was kind of a bummer a little bit. But like I say, I did end up with 18. Discovered a lot of new bands that I liked. So that's a good way of doing it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So
especially learning new bands. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So leading off, I had the song Dead Leaves by Sentenced off their album Frozen from 1998. And then I had And They All Blew Away from Witherfall off of their album The Curse of Autumn from 2021. Then I went, and I know a lot of you are gonna be like, "Oh, it's a Halloween song." Okay, whatever. Black Number One by Typo Negative.
It's still, Halloween's in the autumn, though.
Yes, exactly. So it works. So I went with Black Number One by Typo Negative off of Bloody Kisses from 1993. Then I went with Autumn Twilight by Rhapsody of Fire off The Magic of the Wizard's Dream from 2005. Then I went with Leaves Scar from Amorphous off of Eclipse from 2006. Then I had Burning Leaves by Ensiferum off of Unsung Heroes from 2012. Then I went with Leaves Whisper by Leaves Eyes off of their Lovelorn album from 2004. Then the next one this was one of those bands that I've never heard of before that I discovered and I liked. I went with the song Dead Leaves by a band called Meat Mincer off of their album, and this is in Czech, so you're gonna have to forgive me, though I'm gonna try to pronounce this the best I can. Nektene Dedictvi, that's the name of the album from 2021. And Meat Mincer is a heavy metal band from Karlovy Vary, Czechia. So they are from the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia. However old you are, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Czechia, yeah. However you remember that country is how old you are. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then number 9, I had Nobody Leaves by Orden Ogan off of East and Hope from 2010. And then number 10, I went with Still I Rise by Shadows Fall off of Retribution for 2009. Now my honorable mention bands were, these were all basically new bands that I discovered doing research for the list during the week. So the first honorable mention I went with Autumn Reflection by a band called November's Doom off of their The Pale Haunt Departure album from 2005. They are a doom / death metal band out of Chicago. Then I went with the song Autumn by a band called Diathra off their My Endless Sorrow album from 2008. They are a melodic goth album out of Mogilev, Belarus. Then I went with Autumn's Crown by Dark Forest off of their Beyond the Veil album from 2016. They are a power metal band from Dudley in the UK. Then I went with Autumn's Final Sun by a band called Dying Wish off of their Dying Wish / Serration split EP. I don't know anything about the band Serration, but they did a split EP with Dying Wish back in 2018. And Dying Wish is a metalcore melodic death metal band out of Portland, Oregon. Then I went with Autumn Leaves by Liquid Steel off of their Midnight Chaser album from 2016. They are a heavy metal band from Innsbruck, Austria. Then I went with just the song just Leaves by a band called 11th Dimension off their Paramnesia album from 2018. They are a of Lisbon, Portugal. Then I went with Autumn Leaves by Ender's Game off their Breathing New Life album from 2006. They are a melodic thrash / heavy metal band from Atlanta. Then last but not least, I went with Dead as Autumn Leaves by a band called Byzantine off of their album The Cicada Tree from 2017, and they are a thrash / groove metal band out of Charleston, West Virginia. So
nice.
A little bit of new music from all over the world, which is never ever a bad thing.
That is true, never a bad thing.
Yeah. So we will, as always, we'll get this list compiled and collaborated on, and we'll get it posted as soon as we can for you guys to check out.
Awesome.
Be 28 songs this week.
Yeah. Then I guess we will go through our album reviews real quick. So I wish I would have saved the one that I posted on the site for today, because I didn't really find a whole lot to go off of besides that. But I did check out. I decided to go with the new Chaosium album. Third Eye.
There you go.
So I know we talked about that band on here a couple times before, but we haven't never reviewed one of their albums. So I thought, we'll just go with that. So if you're not familiar with the Chaosium, they are a Swiss new metalcore band out of Lausanne, Switzerland. They were formed in 2018. They consist of vocalist C.K. Smile, drummer Greg Turini, guitarist Loic DeRuse, and then guitarist Valerie Vangs. I think it's Vangs, but that is the current lineup there. Let me see if this is their. I think this may be their. Yeah, so this is their. This is their one. That's a live album. So this is their third CD. Third release. So, and it's funny how they do theirs, because their first album was called First Step to Hell, then their second one was called Second Life. So this one's Third Eye. So they're kind of going in. They're kind of going in a. I thought that's probably why they named it that, but I wanted to double check. But, but that's cool though.
They got like a running theme. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. This album was 10 songs, 46 minutes, 17 seconds. Of course, if you haven't heard Chaosium, they are probably as close to Korn as you will ever get. So this album, I don't know if you checked this out yet, but you may want to listen to it, because it definitely sways away from that sound, believe it or not.
Okay.
I was like, there's a couple songs in there I was still like, they still got it. And then there was a couple songs I'm like, wow, this doesn't sound like Korn at all. So that's actually probably good. It is. I think maybe they're trying to. I think maybe somebody may have gotten in their ear about that, and they're like, "Oh, well, we didn't really notice that, but okay, we'll try to do something different." But
a little diversity,
and it definitely played out in this album. I think this is a really, really good album all the way around. Especially you know how big I am with the metalcore and new metal anyway. So but the only thing that I did not really care for was they stuck the fourth track is the title track, and they stuck it was like 1:33, and they kind of stuck that in the middle, and I was just like, why did y'all do that? But there must be a reason for it. So it was only 1:33. What kind of track was it? Was it just like one of those? Did it end up just being an interlude or something? It was just like kind of an interlude or something. But
that was the title track.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like. That was kind of weird to me, and plus it was only 10 songs, so you really only got 9.
Yep.
so they kind of like kind of swayed me in a
that is
review a little bit. So, but I mean, the rest of the album's great. I mean, like if that would have been in the beginning, I would have probably.
Well, there you go. Makes sense.
I probably wouldn't have had a big of issue with it, but it's just kind of the placement. I'm not sure if the band chooses that or if the producers are there.
Well, I would hope
even their record label may choose how they place it.
I would hope the band would have at least some say in the.
Well, you would think
in the track listing, especially in that case where it's like this is supposed to be the intro. Why did you put it at fucking track 4?
yeah. So, but anyway. Other than that, I thought it was a great album. It's definitely a 4-horn album for me. So go out and check that one out. So.
Yeah, Victor, thanks for the shout out there about the Spotify playlist. We're glad you enjoyed it. So,
especially the one called Spirits. Oh, cool.
Especially the one called Spirits. Yeah, it's good. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy this new one because Victor, I know you're always talking to me about finding some new bands out there. So that's what I've been kind of trying to focus on the last 2-3 weeks. So there's going to be 9 songs out of mine that are going to be bands that are new to me. They're not new bands, but they're going to be new to us. So
and then Victor too, while you're here, if you don't mind sharing some of Hex stuff on your platforms as well. So trying to get them out there a little bit. So
and Victor, if any of you guys are interested, Victor is actually down in Atlanta right now. He's actually been live streaming a festival down there. So if you want to head over to the Rock and Heavy, we want to head on over to the Rock and Heavy Facebook group over there and check out some live streaming he's got going on over there. So I actually listened to some of that last night. So. Yeah, I caught a little bit of it too. So he was doing a good job of getting that live stream out there. So yeah, go check that out. Our good buddy Victor over there is live streaming music for everybody. So it's never a bad thing. So.
It was so cool about what we do is like we've come across Victor, we've come across Dana, and we've come across all these people that are so fucking cool, man. That we covered. Oh, he's got Deicide and stuff today.
Yeah, he's got Deicide and Raven that he's going to be covering today. There you go.
Cool. Hell yeah.
There you go.
So
nice.
So yeah, it's just cool, and then meeting the bands like like I said, Hex being the most recent, and then like I said, all the other bands that we've talked to over all year has been so cool, and like they're so down to earth, and I think we've covered a diversity of the metal genre with what we've been interviewing too, so which is cool. But yeah, I think it's been.
What
my God!
Fuck, what I got going on here?
That's fucking YouTube.
Jesus Christ!
Should have figured.
Which is weird because you can't even watch that kind of stuff on YouTube, so it's fucking.
Not supposed to, right?
Stupid. We got some spam in the chat in case anybody's wondering.
But I'll take care of it.
So before I do my album review, should we let everybody know who's the next band coming on the show? Should we let them know, or do we want to wait?
We're gonna
make them sweat a little bit. Okay, we'll make them sweat a little bit.
Well, I haven't got confirmation, so
that's true too. Oh, and speaking of which, speaking of iron still in the fire, I got an email.
I did see that.
Did you see the email? Okay, all right, cool. So all right, so. We're definitely gonna let people stew on that one. What are they talking about? You'll have to fucking wait and find out. All right. Well, my album review, I went with the new album Second Life, which is weird because because
about that, right?
Yeah, because so it's kind of weird how this stuff turns out. But I listened to the new album Second Life by Dragon Hammer. They are a power metal band formed in Rome, Italy in 1999. So there you go. We got another European band out there. So their lyrical themes include fantasy and life. They are a 6-piece. Their current lineup consists of. We'll share this chat with Helen in Rock and Heavy and nice. Yeah, sweet. Please do, Victor. We appreciate that. And then let's see, we have Guy Amodio on bass. We have Giulio Cadavera on keyboards, Flavio Ciccolini on guitars, Alessandro Mancini on guitar, Marco Baritoni on drums, and Mattia Fagliolo on vocals. So this album was 11 tracks long, 55 minutes and 32 seconds, but you could knock that down to 10 tracks. And Hexed, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hexed, yeah. You could kind of do the same thing with this album that Jason, you probably could have done with the Chaosium one. Of course, their intro was actually at the start. It was, the first track was an instrumental at 1 minute and 29 seconds. So if you want to deduct that, it's 9 tracks long and 54 minutes in change. So, but being the power metal guy that I am, I liked this one to start. It started off real strong. And then I liked the first half, not quite so much the second half. I mean, all of the songs were put together really well. Mattia Fagiolo, I mean, he's got a really, you heard some of it. So he's got a really powerful voice. So fits right in with the power metal style. The guitars, I mean, the guitars were fucking phenomenal. Power metal does that, so yeah. The guitar solos were really, really put together well. The only thing that I hated, for me, this album like tailed off pretty hard towards the end. Tracks 6 through 11, I mean, were okay. There's a track number 6 is called Fallen Brother. And it was like the first ballad on the album, but of course the problem was it was like the first of like 3 or 4 almost right in a row. So I've got no problem with ballads at all. I've got no problem with ballads, but you
gotta mix it up.
You gotta mix it up, and I think you should use them. I think you should use them sparingly. So it got a little bit soft, and then some of the other songs at the very, very end, they got a little bit too mystical even for me. So overall, I'm going to give the album 3 out of 5. I still liked the album from start to finish. I would have mixed up the track listing a little bit, maybe break up the ballads and segment them a little more. There were a couple of songs, like I say, on the end that I didn't really care for as much. So, but nothing that was a complete deal breaker. But there are definitely power metal albums that I've liked more, and I may, if given the time, listen to some of their other stuff, because this was their 5th album. Their debut album came out in 2001, and then they went 01, 04, 13, and 17. So, they had a little bit of a hiatus in there between 04 and 13, but they were on a pretty steady clip there, at the beginning, and then they picked back up in 2013. So, like I say, definitely not a deal breaker as far as anything on the album, but there's a few things I would have changed, but yeah, I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5. Definitely not a bad album. The only other thing I started listening to Limb After Limb, the new album from Iron Flesh. I think I'm only like on track 3 or 4, so I'm not quite halfway yet. So I am going to try to finish listening to that, but Iron Flesh, they're actually a death metal band out of Bordeaux, France. They've been around since 2017. This is their 3rd album. So I'm going to, so far, and we've said it before that, death metal isn't, exactly the subgenre we gravitate towards, but I'm actually enjoying this one so far. It's actually not bad. The vocals are a little bit cleaner than you would expect for some death metal, and they actually kind of throw a little bit of like when the guitar solos kind of gravitate more towards like the thrash metal style. So it's kind of nice. It's like a little bit of it's like a nice change of pace. So I'm gonna try to finish that one.
Cool.
Yeah. And I will try to check out the Chaosium album.
Yeah.
Let's see now. Now, as far as November 11th, if you want to go,
just a second. Okay. Trying to.
Jesus, that's another long list.
I wanted to at least call out the album that I put the review on the website. Avaris.
Avaris. Yeah.
Averis with a new album, White Elephant. It's a let's see. I think this is actually their debut album. So yeah, go check that out. It's 10 tracks, 40 minutes, 38 seconds. Definitely a core. Like I said, definitely the core sound is metalcore, but it kind of shifts a bit throughout. So you definitely got the metalcore, I guess, foundation, but it kind of builds out for around it. So you even got a little grungy in there a little bit. So it's kind of like I said in the review, it's kind of like a mix between Killswitch, Trivium, and Alice in Chains. So
yep, that's right, you did.
And the vocals kind of transition really nice too between the screams and cleans and stuff. And of course, musically, the guitars complemented each other really well, and you had great bass lines and drumming. So yeah, check that out. I gave that one 4 horns as well. So definitely check that one out. I may actually try to reach out to these guys, try to get them on and talk about their debut stuff. So
that would be cool. Yeah.
So yeah, there'll be another band from over the pond there. They're from West Flanders, Belgium. So so that'd be a little interesting. So
nice. Yeah.
They was just formed during the pandemic. It looks like they was formed in 2021. I think they all.
There you go.
I think they were all in bands before, but this band's kind of just came together in 2021. So.
Well, there you go.
So check that one out
one small benefit, maybe.
Yeah. So that's why I said, like, it kind of had its ups and downs with the pandemic, but a lot of new music was being made. That's for damn sure. So yeah, you can go ahead and tell us what we got next week then, I guess.
All right. So upcoming for November 11th, next Friday, leading off with About Us with a self-titled album. We have Itala with Live to Regret. Aldaron with Supreme Silence. That is a re-release. We have Aralu with Death Covenant. Ashen Tomb with a self-titled EP. We have Ayur with Hidden Rooms Sessions. We have Bark with Rambler of Aeons. We have Biwo or BIWO. It's in all caps, so I'm not sure if it's an anagram for something or with Life and Death. We have Black Cross Hotel with Hex, the Black Dahlia Murder with Eula Mall, a holiday variety extravaganza, which I think we talked about here on the show.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Then we have Bone Carver with Carnage Funeral. I can't wait to see what that album cover looks like.
Yeah, right.
We have Borders with Bloom Season. We have Casket Robbery, who was at the Tennessee Metal Devastation Music Fest with Rituals of Death. So they've got an album coming out, which is cool. We have Chaos Over Cosmos with A Dream If Ever There Was One. We have Chelsea Grin with Suffer in Hell. City of Industry with Spiritual West. We have The Comfort with Experience Everything, Live and Die. We have Constellation with Magisterial Romance. Destroyer of Light with Panic, Detheris with Unrelenting Malevolence, Devil Priest with In Repugnant Abortion. Can only imagine what that fucking album cover looks like. We have Dirt Forge with Interspheral. We have Doomocracy with Unorthodox, Dream Unending with Song of Salvation, Drowse with Wade Into It. We have Drudk with All Belong to the Night, Dune Sea with Orbital Distortion. We have Disc Gnostic with Scar Echoes, with Ibon with The Garden of Theophrastus. That's a re-release. We have Empire Drowns with Nothing. We have Encryptment with Doden's Fadsel. I think that might have been German. I'm not 100% sure. We have Enough Xenough with Finer Than Sin. We have Epica. Yep, I know, right? I know. We have Epica with The Alchemy Project. That is an EP. We have Everfrost with Frostbites. That's an EP. We have Felleth with Divine Blight. We have Fell Ruin with Cast in Oil, The Dressed Rot. We have Fleshwater with We're Not Here to Be Loved. We have Floating with The Waves Have Teeth. We have Fulano / The Crooked Whispers with Last Call from Hell. I'm not 100% sure if that's a split because it doesn't say that it is. We have Fury Helium with Far From Sanity. Galdaria with Endless Horizon. Grog with Macabre Requiems. That's a re-release. We have the Guitar and Whiskey Club with a self-titled EP. Guns N' Roses with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, that box set that we were talking about.
Yeah.
We have Harvest Golgotha with Ancient Woods. Hot and Court with Collapse. We have H.C. Berenson with a self-titled album. We have Haydn with Angel, I guess. He is Legend with Endless Hallway. Incursion with Blinding Force. Inverted Matter with Harbinger. Campfire with Till Clover's Takt. Catatonia with Dead End Kings, the 10th Anniversary Edition. We have Kingsman with Bones Don't Lie. We have Kurushimi with Return 3 Death. That is an EP. We have Lamentations with Passion of Depression. Last in Line with A Day in the Life. That is an EP. We have Levire with No Truth to Tell Part 1. That is also an EP. Leatherwolf with Kill the Hunted. Locrian with Archive 3, Visible Invisible. Lord of Horns with The Forest at Dusk. LS Dunes with Past Lives. Luminos with A Glimpse Through the Event Horizon. Mammoth WVH with a self-titled deluxe edition. Mantric Momentum with Trela by Fire. Merriweather Stark Wackerman with Cosmic Effect. We have Methes with Demons of My Soul. We have MMXX, which I know is 2022 in Roman numerals, with Sacred Cargo. Monster Magnet with Test Patterns Volume 1. Monroe's Thunder with The Black Watch. We have Nat Marin Terror Cross with Rise of the Nightmare Terror. That is a split album. We have Necrophobic with Dark Side. That's a re-release. We have Next Womb with a self-titled album. Norse Scold with Prisma Aeternus. Oak with The Quiet Rebellion of Compromise. Onslaught with Signs of Violence, but that's a re-release. We have Orbiter with Head Wounds. That's an EP. Palace with Retrospection. Phantasmos with Last Shining Breath. Powerwolf with Lupus Day, the 15th anniversary edition. We have Ramina with Strata. Reign of Fire with Gravity. Rook Road with a self-titled album. Scattered Storm with In This Dying Sun. That's an EP. We have Skansa Krata with Paroxysms. Seventh Station with Heal the Unhealed. Silence is Spoken with 2 or 11. I think that might actually be 11. Skin Failure with Radalac. Snipers of Babel with Gabriel. Soul Grinder with Anthems from the Abyss. We have Sorgated with Nat Av Tucson Dodsfall. Spider God with Fly in the Trap. Steve Lowe with Thunder and Rain. We have Turha with Endel Hetoneg. That is a re-release. If I mispronounce that, I'm sorry. We have Trupp with Nye. Vitra with Blasphemy Blues. Void Crusher with Call of the Void. Void Moon with Waste of Mind. War Kings with Morgana. We have Emir with Eons of Sorrow. Zeke Sky with Intergalactic Demon King. And Zealot with Supplicis. That is an EP. So,
cool.
So yeah, a lot of stuff to unpack there. So,
Man. We'll be busy again next week.
Yep. Yes, we will. So let's see. What do we? What's this first playlist? Is that
that's the weekly playlist there?
Weekly one?
Actually, the one that you got highlighted. Yeah, that's the weekly one.
Okay, so
and then the one under it was the Vampire one from last week. So
okay, yep. So there's the weekly one. I'll leave that up there for a couple minutes as we wrap up here, and then I'll post the Vampires one here in just a second. So
yeah, so. I just wanted to, before we wrap up, just say thank you to Tina and Stellan for taking their time out to join us today for that great interview. It was so awesome to talk to those, talk to them, and like I said, hopefully we can do it again soon. Like I said, with the whole band, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Actually, get different perspectives when you get everybody involved. So,
yeah, maybe the rest of the guys can tell us some stories about them.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, they have to leave the room, and then but yeah, it was really, really cool to.
And then there you go. There's the playlist for Vampires from last week. So,
and like I said, they were really, really laid back, and
they were.
I think it's just, I guess maybe like the way we do things is kind of relaxing, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
So we try not to make it so much as
rigid. Yeah,
and like pressing a lot of questions. So it's just kind of like let it flow and see where it goes, kind of thing. So
yeah, it would help if my dumbass actually knew how to ask a question.
Hey, you remembered all those hockey players though. So
well, I may have to do what you do. I may have to do what you did and just start writing the questions down. What I'd been doing is I've just been trying to like organically ask a question based on where the conversation's been going, and I just got myself majorly tripped up over that first one. I don't fucking know why, but
well, I didn't write. I didn't write anything. I just kind of noted kind of what to talk about, but.
Even that.
I wrote down like logistics or stuff like that.
Yeah. But still, even that would have helped.
I didn't really have a lot wrote down. I just had like 3 things that I wanted to see what was different over there than over here. So
Right. Well, that's always interesting to find out.
It is,
because
yeah.
I mean over there in Europe, they're literally going from country to country to country, experiencing all those differences as they're driving around on tour. Here, you're in the same country, just going from state to state, and pretty much all the laws are,
Right.
obviously there are exceptions, but by and large, all of the laws and regulations are the same.
It just seems funny. Like a lot of those bands are able to get here, but a lot of our bands are having a hard time getting there.
That does seem strange.
I'm like, wow, what? But I mean, it could be
weird.
Like it could be the cost though too. Like
it could be.
Having, the cost of, like you said, petrol over there is pretty ridiculous. So they're probably able to come over here thinking, shit, we can get gas for $3 a gallon here. Shit, it's like, sign me up. We're going to do a North American tour for 6 years. Yeah. So we really do appreciate them taking their time out to talk to us today. It was really, really good. If you missed that interview, it will be on YouTube and our website should have it up there for a while too. So can always catch it there. So I'm sure we'll be sharing it, talking about it again. So so like always. So and we do have actually, you know what? Let me see if they responded, and I'll freaking let it out. Fuck it.
Yep.
Let's see. They have not yet. So
okay. Well, we'll hold on to it.
So I won't give it away yet. So
yeah, we'll hold on to it. So I'm excited though.
Yeah. I am too. So it's going to be really, really, really good. Actually, a band we met recently. So we already it'd be kind of cool to actually talk to somebody we've already met. So usually
I know that. Yeah,
usually it's the case. So it's usually the other way around. So usually we talk to them first, but so it'd be pretty cool. Can't wait. Then I said we got a couple other irons in the fire. So some
of them are getting really, really hot too. So.
Yeah. So and that may be one of our biggest interviews that we do too, if we land that one. So
yeah, maybe.
So but anyway, hope you guys enjoy the interview and then what little content we got to share with you guys. So we'll keep the stories and the hitting the road for next week. So like I said, they're not going anywhere. So I don't think any of the stories were kind of
oops, excuse me. Well, what we can do is
we did have a passing though, didn't we?
Yeah, damn it. Yeah, let's at least talk about that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and at least talk about that. I can talk about that one real quick. Let's see. Yeah. Unfortunately, over at blabbermouth.net, of course, multiple outlets had that, but still, over at blabbermouth.net, long-time Dead Kennedys drummer D.H. Peligro has died at the age of 63. The news of Peligro passing was shared by the band's social media post on Saturday, October 29th. So if you're wondering why we didn't talk about it, on last week's show, it's because I saw it the afternoon, last Saturday afternoon.
Right, it was afternoon.
Show went off the air. Yeah, so news broke after we were off the air. So Dead Kennedy's statement reads as follows, quote, Dead Kennedy's drummer D.H. Peligro, Darren Henley, passed away in his L.A. home yesterday, October 28th. Police on the scene stated that he died from trauma to the head caused by an accidental fall. Arrangements are pending. I know, it pisses me off. Arrangements are pending and will be announced in the coming days. We ask that you respect the family's privacy during this difficult time. Thank you for your thoughts and words of comfort, end quote. Peligro joined the Dead Kennedys in February 1981, replacing original drummer Ted, and made his recorded debut with the group on the EP In God We Trust Incorporated, which was released in December of that year. He would go on to record the studio albums Plastic Surgery Disasters, Frankenchrist, and Bedtime for Democracy, as well as the singles/rarities collection, Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. Dead Kennedys. So how much of that did you miss?
Just the last little bit. So
okay. Well, I don't know how much of it, but the last little bit of the story just said that the Dead Kennedys broke up in 1986.
Okay.
So so we always fucking hate talking about passings here, but it does happen. So
yeah, it's part of life, unfortunately. So
yep.
makes no sense to say that, but part of life is death. But
it is. It absolutely is.
But prayers go out to their family and stuff. Like I said, our condolences for sure. So I hate to hear that, but especially after a fall, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just freak accident. So.
All right, so we'll jump off here. Just want to thank you again to Tina and Stellan from Hexed for joining us the first part. I guess the first majority of the show.
Yeah.
So I love the interview session because it always winds up being, you never know what's going to happen. We could go 3 hours, we could go an hour and a half. You just never know. So
yep. Thanks to Victor for stopping by. Thank you to Tor Elnon for stopping in and commenting and showing the band some love. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for everyone who came by and watched. Thanks to everybody who came by and listened. Myrna as always. Yep.
She stuck with us through the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
She did. Yeah, that's nice. So, just remind everybody that you can check out Hexed over at hexed.se. You can find them at Hexed Metal on Twitter, on Instagram, and at Facebook. So, and they do have a Bandcamp page there, so you can buy the merch at Bandcamp or at the website. And as always, you can follow us at VOPUSARadio.com. You can follow us on the VOP USA Radio mobile app. You can reach us at Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on TikTok. I posted 2 TikToks. You can find us on Instagram, the Metalheads Unite Facebook group. Send us a request. We'll get you guys a membership over there. But
and the newly acquired Patreon. So
yep. The Patreon is up and running. It's kind of bare at the moment, like the TikTok was there for a little while. But hey, we're moving forward as fast as we can. So
I've actually been talking to a couple of people about some merch. So hopefully we get that going here in the next couple of weeks. So
you know what we need to do, seriously. And I know I don't know if Stellan and Tina are still listening or watching or whatever, but we need to get one of our shirts needs to be a what the fuck shirt. I swear to God, it needs to be. It needs to be. Even if in this country we have to go do what the F,
or WTF or whatever.
Yeah, even if we have to edit the shirt somehow, which I would rather not do, but I would love to get that. I would love to get that shirt made. I would send one to Stellan and Tina free of charge.
Yep.
But maybe we should do that. Maybe
all right, we'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah,
so.
we may need to do that. So,
all right, guys. Well, like I said, thank you for stopping by with us today, and then like I said, catch us on all of our outlets there, and then Chris pointed out, catch Hexed on .se, right?
That's .se. Yep, that's the Swedish suffix there for the web address.
Yeah. So all right. Well, we will have a packed show for you next week, I guess. Now, unless something else comes up, and we wind up with a band midweek. So
never know,
which could happen. So
it could. It could.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for stopping in. Hopefully, we will see you right back here next week. And until then, keep those devil horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can. See you back here next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.